Hi guys, welcome back to the Kit and Krysta podcast, episode 11.
Yes.
Here we go.
Love it.
Are you ready?
So ready. This is I think our biggest show
packet
ever.
Of papers
We
ever.
usually have like a couple pieces of paper,
Yeah.
like just some notes. This is like hefty, like
We could combine our two
Yeah.
copies of show notes. By the way, people think this is a script. It is not a script, okay? Someone in the comments was like, I'd love to see an unscripted podcast. That is what you're
I'll be
watching.
writing 24
right
hours
now.
a day to script a 2-hour podcast. Laugh now.
ABF.
Line.
Yes, there's a teleprompter behind us, and we're reading these teleprompts right now. No, this is not scripted. These are just notes, but we have a lot to cover today.
Do we ever?
We have a very special Never a Minute segment where Mr. Kameoka so kindly answered all of your questions, and he sent over a stack of answers.
It wasn't a trick. He actually did it.
I know, right?
Part of me is like, he's not going to do this.
He's like, whatever.
Yeah, I got him now. Goodbye.
And he like ghosts us.
Yeah.
No. He was so sweet, and this is a heavy
We have them
stack of answers.
We have the responses in Japanese too.
I
if you would
know.
like to check the translation.
I think we should post this to our Discord, the Japanese translations. And if you want to check the translations or read it in the original Japanese, then please join our Patreon. It is $5 to get access to Discord.
I'm going to do it the legit way. I'm going to put it into Google Translate. This isn't right.
Wait a second. He said Mother 3 was released. No, just kidding.
Oh.
Womp womp. But anyways, before that, we just have like tons of cool stuff to talk about.
We do.
How are you feeling energy-wise? Because you're
Feeling
going to need
great.
your wits about you for this episode.
I feel good.
Do you really?
Yeah. Do you?
I do. I feel
Oh no,
good.
worried I'm not going to make it.
You're not going to make
I'm
it.
going to
You're
black
just
out
some sort of like
halfway in.
crumble into like a puddle. Well, you do get like
do get tired.
podcast brain
Yeah.
afterwards that we both have been trying to get used to. I feel better nowadays.
Yeah.
The first couple of episodes, I was just like a zombie.
There's some people that
afterwards.
can just drone on like all day long, and I can't do that.
I can't do that
No.
either. I need the quiet time. I have a surprise for you,
Oh,
though.
really?
I do.
What is
Are you
it?
excited?
I'm excited.
You
What is
look
it?
so
Yeah.
excited. My mother,
Oh.
Mama Yang, texted me last night and was like, what is your recording schedule? I'd like to make you a really traditional Chinese snack
Oh, a snack.
today. You know how we have our little
Yeah.
coffee breaks between
Right.
the podcast and the show filmings?
And?
So she's making the delicious mung coal noodles.
Oh, wow.
I know. So you can look forward to that after you record the 2-hour podcast.
Little,
This is the
little treat.
We were like, this is the best work break room ever.
Yeah.
Here. She like presses the fresh soy milk. She makes us snacks. My stepdad, who's amazing, makes us like fresh ground coffee. I'm like, this
It's true.
is really
Every
nice.
time I come in now, there's a fresh carafe of
fresh-
soy milk.
Yeah.
that
yeah,
she
it's
made.
Very nice.
Incredible.
She has like vegetables in her garden that she like peels for
Right.
us. There's oranges today too. So anyways, you can look forward to that.
The
It'll be our
bounties of
reward.
podcasting.
After you podcast this huge meaty episode, you can have a mung noodle.
Yes.
Okay, what do we have going on here?
Well, maybe we can start just by looking back to last week, our Minecraft video.
Yes.
Some helpful comments were left for us.
Thank you so
about
much. The torches.
affixing the torches to the wall. We didn't know that.
That is very obvious now that you guys say
You know,
it, but at the time we were just like, why isn't this working?
Don't know if that was in the book. And the book is really what I'm going on. So I'm blaming the book.
I think the book is like, that's too obvious even
No!
for this book, so we're not going to put it in there.
I'm
but
holding it
somehow,
in my hand, a torch.
Somehow the dummies couldn't even get that. Oh gosh. It is very fun for us. If you'd like to see us do more, tell us so we know what games you want to see us play. And yeah, clearly we've learned nothing.
I love
over
being humble,
3 episodes.
if nothing.
I just want to learn. This is such a huge phenomenon. People that are into it are like so super into
Right.
it. I honestly hasn't really clicked with me, clearly, as you can see. In these videos, I just drown and get lost and get killed. But
Bumble into dark caves.
yes, exactly. Totally ruin it for everybody else. But yeah, your tips are super helpful. So thank you so much for leaving them. And if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. It is live on the YouTube channel.
But there is some
Yeah.
fun stuff coming up on the Kit and Krysta show this week. We are doing part 2 of our Nintendo Treasures. Which was one of the first videos that we did.
That was a video that we did when we were testing out, like, if we can do both video and podcast.
Right.
And but we have more treasures.
We got more stuff. I'll just hold up one just
little teaser.
Little tease here.
This is a pretty good one.
This is cool. So
you committed a crime for this
No, I was given this. This is the scorebook for The Legend of Zelda Symphony, where I'll save the full story for the episode, but we attended a rehearsal.
You can see right here on the front, it says
Themes by Koji Kondo.
Look
at how thick this is. It's just pages and pages of music.
It's crazy.
This is for the actual musicians.
The music itself is very
Turn those pages or you're going to miss out.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But we have, what do we got, like half dozen or so things that we're going to be going through, so you won't want to miss that.
Some good treasures that we've collected over our long tenure.
I don't think you'll have seen some of these.
I don't think so either. Some of these are very obscure.
Some of these are one of a kind.
Well, yeah.
You know you have something that is literally one of a kind. I have literally
something that is, you don't want to miss it. Anyways, tune in for that video that's going live on Friday.
And a lot of people wanted to see us box each other.
Oh, that's right. You were in denial about the amount of people that called for boxing because you were scared of me. Put them up. Put up your dukes.
I'm scared of being sent to jail.
For what?
I'm more of a white-collar prison kind of guy, you know? That's maybe more up my alley.
Some money laundering is
But guess what? Nintendo Switch Sports coming out. In mere days.
Mere moments.
We're cooking up a cool idea, a cross-generational Wii Sports / Switch Sports competition for you and I that will involve boxing.
Yes.
Not the real kind.
It's going to be a triathlon, pentathlon, something along of athletic.
Yeah. Prowess. What did you say?
Showicism?
That's not a word. Prowess is a word. Showicism is not a word.
Showicism is your athleticism.
Wow, you corrected me and actually said something that was actually wrong. Showicism. Come on.
Showicism, your athleticisms. That's the title of the video.
Wow.
We'll see. Who is the most strong? I don't know.
You're losing your words right now.
Wonderful and...
But this is kind of how we thought of doing these treasures again, because I was going through all these boxes. And I have boxes and boxes and boxes, because I needed to get these old Wii games and my Wii U to play them on.
Yeah.
And I found some
some
wild stuff.
Some deep cuts.
Yeah, like I found, I have 2 sealed copies of Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, which is the GameCube Fire Emblem game.
Whoa. Sealed.
I'm not selling any of this stuff, but I was definitely looking on eBay. Like,
there's some moments where you're like, look on eBay, and you're like, oh, that's worth that much. I just have it shoved in a cabinet.
These game prices have really shot up. I mean, I don't collect games or anything, but I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Sealed copy of Devil's Third, the ill-fated Itagaki Wii U game. That was like,
oh, that was a bad. I was
like, oh, this is $500. Excuse me.
Sell it and let's go out to dinner.
Well, I'm gonna wait now. Now you wait.
Oh, you wait.
Put it in layaway. And
a little appreciation.
Come back to that in 10 years.
This is your retirement fund.
That's right.
Your Nintendo goodies that you've collected.
Oh, I have so many of these boxes with so much stuff. So that was fun.
Yeah. Anyways, but yes, we'll be boxing each other coming up.
Virtually.
Or not. Yes. Depends on how mad I get at you during.
Oh, no.
I just get boxed right in the face. We'll keep it very safe. Don't worry.
Yes.
So that's going to be really fun. Oh my gosh, there's so much happening. I'm like going through this list and it's...
The proverbial housekeeping, as they say.
Don't say that. This is so much more fun than housekeeping. We're not vacuuming.
Let me remind you of the embargo, blah, blah, blah.
Don't take photos of the trailers.
We joke about that because every event in the industry, there's some poor PR person who has to go up and do the, quote, housekeeping. They can call it whatever they want, but they always call it housekeeping.
Right.
And it's always the boring stuff. It's like... We will deliver a link with the assets at a later time.
Please don't take photos. We will provide you with B-roll. They call it B-roll. Yeah, it's always like, don't break the embargo. The fist shaking about the embargo.
Please enjoy our mashed potato bar in the back.
Sliders. It's always sliders, and there's always like some sort of potato product.
Yeah, or macaroni. Could be a macaroni bar.
Macaroni bites.
Yeah.
Macaroni bites.
What if you have a lobster and macaroni bar? That's where you know you're high rolling.
That's a AAA
That's how you know
right
somebody's
Mario
overcompensating. The game's
game.
bad. Oh. Yes. If you show me the
distract them with
if you show me the spread at a game event, I can tell you how good or bad that game is.
Yeah, if it's just like a celery stick, you know that game is like high end.
That's a Nintendo event. You know you got nothing to worry about. That's a high quality game. We're here to see the game. People will be glued to those controllers.
Yeah, we don't need a celery. It's fine. All right. What else? We have a Patreon
this week, this Saturday. It's coming up.
So excited! It's going to be so much fun.
We're doing these monthly for our One Up Club Patreon tier.
Yes.
It's not too late to sign up and join.
Yeah, as long as you sign up before the week is over, you can get the invite to join the virtual meetup.
We are recording it, just in case. We have people all over the world.
Yeah, somebody was like, "This is 2 a.m. for me." I'm like, "Oh, sorry." We'll change the time up too if it works. We'll be flexible.
Well, not this one.
Not this one.
In the future.
In the future.
We're doing these monthly.
Month to month, we'll relook at the schedule to see what works for everybody, for the majority of everyone.
Correct.
We have some really fun things planned, including some trivia, some gameplay, some prizes. It's gonna be good.
It is.
You don't want to miss it.
Yeah, and this is cutting it close. So that, this podcast comes out on Thursday. Happening, if you're listening to this on Thursday, today.
Yeah.
We are guests on Min-Max Trivia Tower, where we are pitting the Kit and Krysta Patreon community against the Min-Max Patreon community. We need a win. We need to win.
I need to express to you how important it is for you to study and win.
How do you study?
I don't know. Go to your wiki pages. Read.
Read all of Wikipedia.
Memorize.
You said you did Simpsons trivia this weekend. How did that go for you?
I was actually pretty good. Middle of the pack.
What was your contribution, though?
I contributed a lot, actually. I did well.
Really?
Yeah, I did well.
Give me a sample question.
Let's see. A sample question. What is Homer's brother's full name?
Oh.
You don't know this answer. I knew this answer.
He has a middle name?
No, just his full name.
Herb? Is that
What's his last name?
I don't know.
See?
What was the answer?
Herb Powell.
Okay.
HP. Remember, he's like on the phone book. He's like H Powell. Oh, that must be him.
All right.
Yeah, those are some of the questions are actually pretty detailed, but it's only for the first 10 seasons, the 90s Simpsons. So you know what to watch.
So this was the boomer edition that you were attending. Now it's my turn to turn the tables.
I was watching it when I was a child.
Yeah, I'm more of a seasons 20 to 25 guy.
Ew, gross.
That's really what my time.
At least I didn't raise the roof. But we digress. Please study for this test. I mean, this fun event.
Test? Wow.
Just kidding. All in good fun, but also we have to win. So tune in to watch. Hopefully you're listening and you can this information in time, but we'll be posting about it.
Yeah,
this week.
And Min-Max will be posting it later if you want to check it out.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, what else? Oh my gosh.
Eglia, we talked about that. That's coming up soon.
Excited about that.
Yeah.
And
if you enjoy the podcast,
please subscribe.
Yes. Please like and subscribe.
Yes. Please do that. Also, there is an audio-only version. I know you guys like the video version, but there is an audio-only version, which is available on all your favorite
Apple, Spotify,
podcast apps,
etc.
etc. Yeah. So if you're listening on audio only, subscribe there too and give us the 5-star rating and all that good stuff, and that really helps us out.
Super fans would listen and watch.
At the same time?
You get a different experience. No, you sync them up.
You're like, 1, 2, 3.
That's what I was like, if you sync The Wizard of Oz to this Pink Floyd album, it'll blow your mind.
Play it backwards, it becomes like...
I don't want to know what's coming out of your mouth if you play the podcast backwards. It's not good.
Subliminal messages?
It is not good. It's ABF.
I'm like, Christopians forever.
Zingers, that's what it is.
Subliminal messages for you to join. Subliminals. For the Christopian game. Yeah, exactly. But yes, goodness, that is quite a lot of things happening.
Housekeeping over.
Ooh. Wow.
So for our story time, we're doing a different sort of thing this week because PAX East happened last week, and obviously we were not there.
Yes.
But we were watching from afar, and we've been to so many PAX Easts. It's like we got some stories that we want to share. We got how many did we write down? We got 7 or so stories. They're like little mini stories.
They're all very random things that happened to us at PAX East. Yeah, we were a little sad that we didn't get to go this year. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
We'll see when the show is like more back to normal. I guess
Right.
it still looked a little bit like kind of not quite back to
not
full
all
on
the
PAX
usual
East.
Exhibitors were there. Is the
Yeah.
thing like
Yeah.
it looked like they had a full floor plan, but I was like, oh, you're kind of missing some of the
Yeah,
big.
the indie booths did look great, and that was
Those
always
are
our
always
favorite.
yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
So I was happy to see that, and yeah, I mean, it'll be great to go back and do live things again, and
Yeah.
do panels and stuff like that, and meet you guys in real life. That would be awesome. So
yeah.
So we were thinking about PAX East, and definitely reminded us of some like weird stuff that's happened to us at PAX East. So let's just like go down the list.
go. Yeah.
This is my favorite story.
Well,
Fire
but
in Boston.
okay, you do this one, and then I'll add a little caveat.
Fire.
There was a fire.
There was a fire
Yes.
in Boston, in our hotel room.
The Great Boston Fire of 2013
2013.
or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Okay, so let me just back up from that crazy headline that I just gave you.
Yes.
So we were all staying, usually when we go to a show, like our events team will book us a hotel.
There's the Nintendo Hotel.
Yeah, so all the Nintendo staff,
Yes.
we were all staying at this one hotel. I don't even remember the name of the hotel anymore. It was not one
It's
of the...
irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. It was not one of the big hotel chains. Like, it was not a Marriott.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't.
I think it was.
No, it wasn't.
Again, it's irrelevant though.
Okay, it doesn't matter. So, anyways, we had a full day at the show. We had dinner. Everyone went back to the hotel.
Yeah, I do remember a very vivid memory of. It must have been the year Luigi's Mansion 2 came out,
Yeah,
because
we
we
were
were all
sitting
in the lobby playing multiplayer.
We were. We did that.
Right.
We were doing that like tower or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. So we were hanging out, and then we all went to bed.
Right.
It was like 10 o'clock at night. It was like late. So everyone's just like respectively in their rooms getting ready for bed at like midnight. It was definitely like late.
It was late. Yeah.
This fire alarm starts going off. And it is like the speaker goes, and it's like, everyone please evacuate, take the stairs.
There's a fire.
There's a fire. Evacuate now.
Yeah.
And I had not gone to bed yet. I don't think I had like,
Well, what were you doing?
I was like still dressed. Like I hadn't like gotten ready for bed or anything yet. I was still up. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe I was playing.
Practicing jokes in the mirror?
Exactly. That's exactly
Your
what
material?
I was doing. I was practicing the AVF jokes in the mirror. So I was fully dressed, and I was still awake. It wasn't like I was like shocked out of sleep for this fire alarm. So I was just like, oh my gosh, what is happening? So I was starting to like gather my things, like just grab my phone.
So you hoofed it. You got out of there.
No, I didn't. Then I started like texting people, like other Nintendo people that were there.
Yeah.
Producer Stephanie was at this show.
Right.
I was texting her. I was like, are you gonna are you leaving? Like, where are you gonna go? Like let's like try to stick together or whatever. And she was kind of like disheveled and trying to
Disheveled.
She was like
wow.
she had gotten ready for bed, so she was trying to like
Okay.
get back up, like wake back up, and like.
Oh, so she was asleep.
I think she was asleep.
Yeah.
Or she was either asleep or falling asleep.
Right.
But she was
Okay.
already like
Yeah.
had been in her like pajamas or whatever.
Okay.
You though.
Yeah.
I had made my rounds with people, and I texted you. I'm like, "Are you leaving?" You're like, "No, I refuse to leave." I was like, "What? What do you mean?"
So I was on the second floor, which was.
So
I was skeptical that there was actually a fire.
But there was though.
I was like, if this is actually like an issue, I'm gonna jump out the window. And because
You're gonna break your legs.
No, I looked out the window. It's PAX East. It's still freezing cold. There were like drifts of snow.
Oh, it was freezing.
So I would just have like a pillow-y fall into the snowbank.
Ridiculous. Firefighters everywhere are shaking their heads at you right now.
Oh no!
You're gonna get canceled for these comments about not respecting a fire alarm. I was so mad. I was like,
Well, then you started ranting at me, and I was like, fine, I'll come out.
Yeah,
But sure enough, there was no fire.
There was a fire.
there wasn't.
It was in the elevator. They put the fire out.
Why was there a fire in an elevator?
Because the electrical stuff was like sparking, and it caused a small fire. That's what happened.
Well, see,
That's what they told
the
us.
elevator was dangerous, not the actual risk of burning down in this hotel.
What if the elevator fire spreads to the floors, the rooms?
I'm shoulder rolling out that window.
Barely could shoulder roll across this floor.
There was no room, okay?
You could not even do that.
I
You
could.
would literally break every bone in your little body. Oh my gosh, I was so mad. I was like, "You get out right now! You're not gonna die in a fire. Like, what is going on?"
So we had a rough day the next day at PAX because we
were
were all disrupted. We had to spend an hour on a curb in freezing.
It was so
midnight
cold.
Boston in March or whatever.
Yeah, it was freezing. Yeah. And I was so lucky because I was still fully clothed, and I put my coat on. It's
like you knew this was going to happen.
It was.
I think you were the culprit.
I lit the fire.
Yeah, you were just waiting.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I'm like diabolical me. But there were people like full on in their like bathrobes.
Well, it's midnight.
And they were like in their like curlers.
Yeah.
Like, being like,
jeez.
I was really lucky.
You're a little too gleeful about this.
I just wanted you to not burn to death. Is that so much to ask?
So here's the caveat I was going to say. If I was to rank all of the United States cities, I'm sorry, people of Boston.
Oh, don't say that.
Boston is not my favorite, but I'll tell you why.
Oh, boy.
I never feel more vulnerable of being like punched in the streets than I do in Boston. I don't know, maybe it's just the neighborhoods we're in. I see these packs of people up to no good. Oh. And it's like, I'm going to get punched for no reason at all. I need to get...
Drunken people.
Yeah, it's like coming out of bars or just like stumbling around. It's like, I need to get to safety. That is my beef.
My thing is that I think it's just the time of year that we always go is just so cold.
It's so cold.
And I just always feel like I'm gonna die because I'm not from the East Coast. Like I don't understand weather like
what
colder than 50.
Right.
And my skin does like a weird thing where it just like starts to like disintegrate. It's gross. Yeah, so I have a hard time with the weather. Yeah. I do love the food and I like the show, but yeah, I can see what you're saying, though. It is like, you do kind of feel like a bit of intimidation when you're there.
The townies, as they say.
The townies.
You gotta look out.
You wanna, don't piss off the townies. Yeah, like
you get tapped on the, and the wrong part of town, buddy. And then just bam.
Smacking the kisser, right in the kisser. Yeah.
So I'm always on high alert.
You're on high alert.
But you mentioned the food. I had a food-related incident.
You did.
So what's the North End? Is that the name of that neighborhood?
Yeah, the neighborhood with a lot of really like
the Italian.
Traditional Italian
food. Really good food there.
Yeah, amazing food.
This is a place that I think we have been a couple times.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to try something new this time. I got the carbonara.
Woo!
The pasta carbonara.
That was a big dish.
I think this was like the day that we had arrived, so not a lot of eating on that long flight. I was hungry.
Really hungry.
And I was like, I'm just wolfing down this carbonara. And this seems like a normal. I mean,
it was a pretty big.
It was a good size.
It was a good portion.
It wasn't like ridiculous though.
Yeah, it wasn't like a competition sized pasta or anything like that.
So I wolfed that down and felt pretty full afterwards. I remember you were trying to talk me into eating this cannoli afterwards. Like we got to go get the cannoli from Mike's Pastries.
Cannoli.
Mike's Pastries is a fun place to go. And I was like, I'm a little full. I don't know.
So we didn't eat it. Did we not?
I think I ate the cannoli. I think you forced me to eat it.
I did.
So I was extremely full after that. And then the next day, I just woke up and had this intense sense of fullness that did not dissipate for the rest of the show.
Yeah, you were like really down and out.
So I basically ate nothing for like 3 more days.
Yeah, we had like good dinner options too. We went to this place with like really good pizza and you had like nothing.
I had like a nibble because I was like, I don't need to eat.
I will add a caveat to this, which is you are a good eater. Like
I like to eat. I want to eat.
You are not picky.
No.
You eat really fast. So it's like really impossible to have dinner with you because I'll be like, I'd be 3 bites in and you'll be like done.
You don't have to keep pace.
There. I'm not going to.
You don't have to.
I'm a slow eater. Anyways, but you always clear your plate too.
Yeah.
So it was like super weird the next 3 days
I don't
where
know.
you just didn't eat anything. I was like, what's happening?
I don't know what incantation was cast on the carbonara, but it was like, I'm just living off this for the rest of my life.
I know. You had, I think you only had coffee and water. Maybe even just coffee.
Amazing.
For like the next 4 days, 3 days. No. It was very strange. I think we did go back and get the carbonara again, but you only ate half portion.
I know. I got other things. I'm not getting the carbonara.
You're never getting it ever again?
That restaurant is really good. I'm glad to go back there, but I'm not getting it.
Puttanesca is my favorite.
I'm not getting the carbonara.
It's so good.
PAX East is also where we started to do live shows.
Yeah.
We did our first live show there.
Yeah,
but
which I was terrified of.
So there's some kind of a timeline for like applying to PAX to do a live show.
Yeah.
And the way Nintendo would do these shows is we were always late and we would always miss the deadline.
Yeah.
So we couldn't get in on the like official like, Dragon Theater or whatever, the Wyvern Theater.
Yeah, exactly. So we would be in those like little rooms, right?
So we'd have to do it ourselves. So we would always like rent a room and be like, all right, well during the day we're going to bring people in and show off these games off the show floor, which is nice. And then we'll turn it around and turn it into a theatery thing for our show.
Yeah.
Which was great. But the first year, it was really down to the wire of them getting the room set up. And I remember like one of our events people are incredible. They are the best.
Yeah.
And they were like, I don't know where the HDMI goes. Does it go into this one or that one? It's like, bro, we got hundreds of people in the line and we got to open the doors. Just put it in.
We had to we were doing a Mario Kart thing. So we had to get the game also to work. Like we were landing the games together. So of course that was something that I honestly could not figure out. So kudos to them for trying. But it was like there were some like tech challenges, like moments before the show.
So they figured it out and then they're like, all right, we're going to mic you up. The thing is, the mics are hot.
Oh my God, the mics are so hot.
So anything you say, everybody's going to be able to hear. And, we had not, I think it was our first live show. We hadn't really thought out like the flow of this. Like, I would love to like parachute in or something and make a grand entrance.
Do you want a shoulder roll?
But it was just like,
the stage?
It was just like, okay, well, we'll just sit in the chair on the stage and everybody will file in and we'll begin, which was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Because,
you can't say anything.
It was just like in silence and everybody was shuffling in and we were just sitting there like statues.
It was so awkward. And I was already really nervous because
You were so nervous.
I don't like live shows.
I don't know why.
I'm really scared.
What do you think this is?
I don't know.
This is live.
I know this is live.
This is happening live.
I know.
Live to tape.
I know. I don't know why. It's like a stupid thing. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense because it shouldn't be scary at all because it's just people that...
I am your safety net in that situation.
You are.
And you are my safety net. That's why it's fun.
Yeah. Because I know.
This isn't the one-man show.
You're just like...
In like Madison Square Garden or something, right? Where you sit on a stool with like a spotlight, right?
Brick wall behind you?
Yeah. That's not what that is.
Just like, oh. No, but seriously, like, it was so nerve-wracking. It could not have been the worst way to open up a show.
Yeah.
But we joke around now. We're like, oh, mics cannot be hot.
Yeah.
Mics need to be the coldest mics ever. Because we want to chat with each other before we start.
Yeah. So now we know better how to do a live show like that.
We were watching a TV show the other day, and it was like someone had gotten into trouble because their mics were hot. Like, you can get into trouble.
You can get into a lot of trouble.
You're
backstage.
My backstage. What if I'm backstage practicing my ABF lines?
Doing a last-minute bathroom run on that hot mic.
That mic is so hot. You're gonna. Ooh. Oh, that's gonna be so embarrassing.
Ooh. We had another tech issue during that one where I had some. I was
Joy-Con drifting.
No, I had Joy-Con interference.
Oh.
And my thing was like, oh, why am I in last place? Because this Joy-Con cannot get the signal through.
Sure, that was
Oops.
Why. That was why.
What's next on this list here? Oh, a fun time for you.
Oh my gosh, this was the worst.
I remember this as we were rushing to the airport to leave PAX. I'm like scrolling, Twitter or whatever. I was like, oh, I think this next Smash character leaked.
Yeah.
Terry Bogard.
Yeah. It leaked how many days before the announcement?
I don't know.
It was probably like...
So that would have been like a Sunday.
I think the announcement was later that week.
Yeah.
So it was probably like at least 2 days before, which was kind of significant.
Yeah.
And again, this whole Smash character thing was just so hard, because we were just, as the marketing team, under so much pressure to keep everything like under wraps and make sure the announcements were perfect.
Not to tell the people who don't need to know. It's always
it was like 4 people that knew.
Interrogation of like, why does this person need to know? What's the justification? What's the reason?
There was like these different levels too, like of people who need to know versus what kind of information they need to know.
Right.
So it was already very complicated, and there was like this huge pressure from, of course, like Mr. Sakurai, who's our resident perfectionist,
right?
And you don't want those characters to leak. It's like a huge moment for us to like talk about the game again,
right?
So it was just terrible.
And I had no involvement in this at all.
Yeah,
so it was really a nothing for me, but a huge problem for you.
Yeah, and it was also like just the worst news to get when you're super tired at the end of a show like that on a Sunday night, about to get onto a plane on the East Coast,
ready to start another working week. Just roll right into the next week like
that
nothing
was the
happened.
thing. Like it's like I can do so much in the 30 minutes I have before I board this flight.
Well, you're boarding this flight.
Frantically typing emails and texting people, like frantically.
Yeah.
And everyone is asking you. I was the marketing lead for this game. So like literally every department was texting me.
Yeah.
The 30 minutes before I had to
There's
get on
always
this
the
flight.
whole like leak cycle that happens of like what happened, who
What
did
happened,
it,
who did it,
somebody
what is
needs to apologize.
We need to investigate.
Yeah.
Here comes the ninjas
Right.
with the thing. We need to add. Here's the meetings. Here the
Right.
Yeah, we need who's writing the email to Sakurai
Yeah.
to explain to him what happened. Who's doing that? Who's translating that email? Oh my god!
yeah.
And this was all Sunday night at like 8 p.m.
Right.
So that was
right.
not great. Not a good way to end a tiring, tiring week.
But here, this is not the last story. This is a fast one. We were driving. We were in a taxi going to some restaurant that was kind of a bit of a drive.
Yeah. It was a German place. It was actually really
a good German restaurant.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, on the way, I was like, why is the Wynn Casino in Boston? Did you notice that too?
No.
There was a giant, the one in Vegas.
Oh.
It looked exactly like that. I remember that as we were driving.
They can gamble in Boston?
I don't know. I was like, what's going on here?
So that's
the direction we were going.
Okay.
But then this cabbie gets on this phone call. He's like grumbling. Like, I'm like, what's happening?
This goes back to your fear of people from Boston
Yeah.
and getting punched. This actually goes back to that quite perfectly.
So he finishes his phone call, puts it down, and he's like, ugh, I can't believe it. We're like,
is he talking to
okay,
us? Like,
what happened? It's my wife. She's drunk in Dorchester. I gotta go pick her up.
He was very upset.
He was mad.
He was like, I'm going in the opposite direction to drop you.
Where's Dorchester? I don't know.
And then, but he has to now go back to Dorchester to pick up his drunk wife, who was somewhere in Dorchester. Awkward.
Jeez.
Boston.
Yeah.
If you're from Boston, explain Boston to us. We'd like to just
be a friendly face in Boston for us.
Don't punch us, please. Actually, I don't feel like I'm gonna get punched. I feel like you're gonna get
Anybody's at risk of the punchings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But then the last PAX East we were at was the pre by a matter of days pandemic.
I can't believe I remember there was like some conversation right before we went to
like, should we do this?
2020 Boston PAX East, which was in the end of February, right?
I think it was in March.
Oh.
Yeah, this was like early March. And it was like, should we do this? And then we were like, it'll be fine. No big deal.
We're like, it's fine. It's
a
pandemic, whatever.
But I remember the thing was hand sanitizer.
Yeah, we had those spritzy ones.
That will cure you from everything, the hand sanitizer.
Just spray yourself with hand sanitizer.
The whole discussion about masks hadn't happened yet, so there was literally nobody wearing masks.
It was
but everybody
like
was
washing
just
your hands and hand sanitizer.
drum barrels of hand sanitizer everywhere.
But we had Nintendo branded hand sanitizer.
Yeah, we did.
In the booth, and people were like,
yeah, we did a live
before
show.
You touch things
again.
You like spritz.
A live show again for hundreds of people in a very small room. Probably a terrible idea. But yeah, so those are our last memories of PAX East.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be back.
Hopefully we'll be back, and hopefully there will not be illness
Yes.
and punching.
Good.
And
carbonara.
Cursed carbonara.
Fires.
And
carbonara.
fires.
Yeah. This stuff doesn't happen at PAX West. PAX West is generally a much more easygoing show.
PAX West has been very low key.
For whatever reason.
But every PAX East,
always
there's something that happens that is just like, what?
Yeah.
Anyways, if you have PAX East stories, let us know in the comments. And then, of course, if you went to PAX East this year,
tell us how
it was and what the vibe was like. Because I was trying to glean it from the photos and stuff, and it was a little hard to... It's a little hard to get the sense of, what all was going on there.
All right, on to Never a Minute.
Yes.
So again, we asked everybody to submit questions for Shinichi Kameoka. Mm-hmm. Took him about a week. We have them back.
Yeah.
We are going to go through them now. We got some kudos from him for the variety, the selection of questions.
Yeah. It's a good job,
we've got some who are on his new game, Egglia Rebirth. Of course, we got some other 3 questions, which he was glad to answer.
Yes.
A couple others.
Yeah, it's great to get his perspective. I think if anyone could give you perspective on that, is probably him. So,
and of course, all these people got codes for Egglia Rebirth. There's 2 people who haven't gotten back to me yet. Please get back to me. I've got your codes.
Yeah, we have your codes.
Yeah. But let's just jump into these. These first couple ones are from YouTube comments. So the first is from Mumbo Mod. Mm-hmm. Question for Mr. Kameoka that I'm sure a ton of people will ask. Any idea why Mother 3 hasn't released outside of Japan? And what do you think are the chances of it releasing? I'd really love to support it and recommend it to friends. So we're going right to the money question here.
Yes.
And again, Mr. Kameoka was one of the key developers on Mother 3.
Yeah.
And I've noted he's pretty outspoken about talking about this.
Yeah, which is great.
His response was, personally, I think the biggest selling point of Mother 3 is Shigesato Itoi's unique writing style. Translating the charm and nuances of his writing into other languages is quite a challenge. And maybe that's why it's taken so long to consider international releases of Mother 3. Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Problem
that makes a lot of
solved.
sense.
You
Yeah.
could stop asking Reggie.
Reggie doesn't know, but he knows.
No, people ask us too. We don't know either.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
But this is a very good point. Like
Right.
when games get localized, there's a lot that goes into that. And sometimes the writing in Japanese is very difficult to capture that essence. So
Right,
that's a very
right.
good a very good reason for
Case closed.
case closed. We
Yeah.
can put the stamp on it.
Right.
All right, next question, also from YouTube, from Jeff S. Question for Shinichi Kameoka about Eglia. The spirits appear to be a really fun feature of the game with a wide variety of designs. Did you have any spirits who were your favorites to design, and what did you aim for when designing spirits for the game? And his answer, I'm quite attached to all the spirits that I personally designed, but Kanan and Onodrin are my favorites. I think... that being said, it just so happens that both of these are the rarer spirits out of the bunch, so you might not have run into them. I hope this spurs people to go out and look for them. Oh.
The spirits are a cool part of the game. That's like
Yeah.
a real interesting modifier that you can add to all your little quest outings.
That's a good incentive to go back and find some of these cool
Yeah.
spirits.
Next is from Area...
No, a real hero.
Oh, a real hero. I see. Yes. Okay. Question for Mr. Kameoka. You've worked on a variety of wonderful games in various capacities, including illustrator and character designer, as well as producing games. How do you approach the task of producing a game given your background in the illustration aspect of game creation? Are there any skills you gained in illustrating that help the functions of a producer and vice versa? Are there some things you learned as a producer that translated into skills you could bring into the design and illustration aspect? And he says, I was a producer, but a lot of my work also included things that a director would do. So when I wanted to communicate something to the development team, I'd do things like quickly draw a simple illustration of what I wanted them to do and show it to them. I guess that's one way being an illustrator in the past helped me out.
Oh boy, the storyboarding.
On the other hand, I don't think anything I've done as a producer has really impacted my work as an illustrator. Laughs. I love the laughs.
In parentheses.
Yeah.
It reminds me of an Iwata ass.
Exactly.
I love that. It's so cute. Yeah. I love it.
So it seems like he's very much a visual person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember,
I can see that going well with.
Remember Mr. Sakurai, he did that thing where he has that little model of a person, and he's like, I want the move to look like this.
Yeah.
And he'll
pose it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have that little person at home too.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes you just pose it.
What have you done with it?
I draw.
Like you haven't made any smash hit videos.
I have not made any hit video games.
Get going.
Oh boy, this person's name. Nico
easier-
Nico Panic.
it's easier than it
Nico
looks.
Nico Panic. 2 times. Question for Eglia developers. What is it like working as a support developer? What are the tasks and responsibilities that you as support developers are in charge of?
This is a really interesting question
Yeah.
because, you see that sometimes on a lot of Nintendo developed games where there's kind of like a front-facing studio, but there's also another studio who's helping out.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, what are those people? What are their roles like? There are many tasks and responsibilities to keep in mind, but I think the most difficult thing a developer has to do is people management. For example, depending on a project, the people you work with can change. This means that as a developer, I have to be mindful that not every team is going to work identically to the one before it, even if you give the new team the exact same set of directions. The real challenge is knowing how to give instructions to your team to make sure that you get the level of quality that you expect. Well, that's really interesting. We're talking about this actually.
This is a pretty universal point where it's like at some point you elevate yourself from like I'm a person doing a thing and I'm focused on that to now I'm leading a team. So
people doing things.
So it's less about my personal contribution and getting the most out of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I think what he's saying that can be challenging is that people change, throughout the development cycle.
Right.
So you just have to like really like adjust your own, communication style each time,
Yeah.
which does sound like a pretty big challenge.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have another Mother 3 question from Eric Riley. I love Mother 3, and I've played through it many times. One thing I find interesting is how the game has its own unique flavor while still being recognizably Mother. What was it like creating the characters and settings for the game, and do you have a favorite character you worked on? And he says, regarding the characters in Mother 3, Itoi-san had already put a lot of work into and had created characters for the 64 version, so I already had a lot to work with. I think my favorite characters are the Magypsies. This Mr. Itoi-san, I didn't mean to say that. He really seems like an interesting person.
Yeah.
Just kind of a, what's the phrase?
Renaissance man.
Yes, exactly, where he can just kind of do it all.
Yeah.
Because you hear like, oh, he's involved in this, and he was involved in that, and he made this game, and he wrote this book. And
Yeah.
well,
You
like,
learn
wow.
a lot about him in the Mr. Awada book.
They're very
actually,
close friends, yes.
it's so interesting because that relationship, you can see it being so symbiotic between the two men because they just have such like a complementary personality and also like talent. But yes, I can see that even when he's working on something so different from like writing, which is like game development, is like his skills really translate still. So, wow, what a person. This is from Alexander Ivory Brown. How did you create the world for Eglia Rebirth? It's giving me Lord of the Rings Shire vibes.
I like that comparison.
That's a good comparison, yeah. You're absolutely right in getting those vibes. I drew a lot of inspiration from J.R.R. Tolkien's works. We built the world of Eglia by weaving together a colorful cast of diverse and original species, settings, and relationships, alongside some familiar and well-loved fantasy tropes. Wow, good eye.
Reading these Tolkien books. German Vega Castro would like to know, about Eglia, is there any hidden lore that players can uncover by reading between the lines? And the answer is, there are many backstories that weren't able to fit into the game due to development constraints, but I wouldn't say there's a secret lore to the game. Some relationships between the spirits will remain untold until you find them and befriend them, but if you play through to the end of the game, I think you'll understand the entirety of the world of Eglia and the relationship between the various species and the roles of the main characters. Where do you fall on this? Do you like having everything laid out, or do you like having stuff on the side?
I kind of like having everything laid out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go through the main game and feel like I understand the story, and if there is a story that I got the general gist of it. I think some side quests and stuff are fine, but I think it makes it harder for you to get the whole picture if you don't do them.
So you're not setting aside a night to read volumes 1 through 20 of some Skyrim book?
No.
That's the extreme
That's
version
so
of
extreme,
this.
yeah. Fan fiction?
Yeah.
Just kidding. Christian Skipper. Excited for the interview as I've been eyeing up Eglia on Switch. So as questions, I love to hear what Kameoka has to say about the process of porting the game to Switch. Was it hard to update controls or progression systems that were originally built on microtransactions in its mobile release?
Oh, so if you didn't know, Eglia was originally a mobile game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, and the answer is, I originally started out developing console games, so the development of the mobile version was actually a pretty big challenge, and I always had the desire to port the game to Switch ever since we started making the mobile version. Once the development staff actually started working on the porting process, things moved fairly quickly. I already had the major changes that I wanted to make in mind, so we worked on those big changes first, and then added and modified other cinematic elements and features as time allowed. The most difficult modification was the UI. We had to change everything from, touch-based controls to controller controls, so that was a big upheaval.
Porting games is an interesting thing that you don't hear about. I don't know if there's some deep dive on like how a game gets ported. I'd love to know.
So hard to do it.
Yeah, but you think it's like, oh, it's just, you just do it, you know?
Yeah.
Just put it into the port machine, it's done.
Is there a port machine? No.
Chunk it out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not.
All right, we're on Nodnarb. Love Nodnarb from Patreon. Mr. Kameoka, what are a few games that you had as a child that inspired you to make video games today? Also, thank you for your contributions to video games. I enjoy your work very much.
Oh, that's nice.
I think Dragon Quest II was the
choice.
game that made me want to start making games. As I played through the various events and systems in Dragon Quest II, I started imagining what kind of events and systems I would personally like to see in a game.
That's a good one.
I think there's a lot of developers,
who are
specifically
inspired by
in Japan, inspired by Dragon Quest.
Yeah. Okay, this is from...
This is our last one.
Last question from Thalio? I'm going to say Thalio.
You're batting 100 on these pronunciations.
Oh my gosh, here we go again. My question is, you have many different critical accolades for your work, but personally, what career achievement, be it big or small, are you most proud of? Great question. And here's the answer. It's been a little over 30 years since I set foot in the video game, or in the game industry. I guess my greatest achievement is that I'm still here and still making games. Despite being involved in a variety of titles, I've never been 100% satisfied with any of them. I think that my greatest motivator to keep striving to be even better than before. More than any accolade, I think I'm just proud that I've been consistent for 30 years. I don't think there's anything else in my life I've continued to do for 30 years. And then there's also another laughs. In the parentheses. That's really funny.
That's sweet.
But I can relate. Yeah. It's hard to be consistent for so long.
Yeah.
But it means that you really care about something.
Right,
so.
right.
Wow, that was amazing.
That was very fun to go through.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kameoka-san, for your amazing answers. And thank you guys for all your questions. And if you got chosen, please respond to us. We can give you your codes.
2 people left.
2 people.
Yeah. All right, on to the games we are playing. We are not starting with Elden Ring.
No, we cannot anymore.
No, although we're still playing it.
Yes.
You played a different game.
I did.
We got some codes for Gata Protector's Cart of Darkness from 8.4.
Yes, our friends.
You've played it a little bit. I have not. I hadn't heard of that game, so I looked it up, and I was like, I can't tell what this game is.
It's very strange,
so please,
but in a great way.
Please tell me and everybody else.
Yeah, and so thank you so much for the codes. It was really fun to just like jump into another game that's not Elden Ring. I would say this game is like sort of a different take on like a defend your castle.
Tower defense?
Tower defense.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of game. It's a lot more like action oriented. Like I feel like tower defense games can get a little bit like repetitive and kind of mundane because you're just like building these things.
And then you watch how it plays out.
And you just watch, but this is definitely you're in the action more.
Okay.
The idea here is there's this princess. You kind of like, for each of the levels, you set her on top of this little tower. And she's basically, when she's on top of it, the tower starts moving across the map.
Yeah.
And you basically have to protect her from everything coming at her. And, some parts of the game, when you're like kind of going through that part, is kind of like Zelda. It's like top down. You get like sort of these like big enemies that are just kind of mobbing you from all sides of the map, and you're doing very like action, kind of attacks and things like that. The coolest part though, I think, is all the different characters. Like there's like such random, there's like very traditional characters, like there's a fighter and there's a mage and there's like an assassin, but there's also like an old man, and this guy, like this wrestler guy, and like underwear, like it's just very zany, like strange characters. They all have different abilities. I tried the fighter and the mage, and both were like pretty easy to get the hang of, and there's a leveling up system and all of that, and I think you can tell that it's very like 8.4 because the writing is so good.
Oh, you mentioned the writing.
The writing is so funny and so just like weird and irreverent, and there's like this thing where it's like you pause the game. It's like, do you want to return to the menu, or are you taking a bathroom break? If you click on bathroom break, it shows you like these random like movie posters.
What?
It's so weird, like, but I love it. It's so cool. It's like the movie poster was like 3 hippos, like
that's funny.
in some sort of like 80s action film. It was very, very. I didn't expect that. I was like, I don't know why would you have that button? Like, it makes no sense, But yeah, no, it's really fun, and it's super easy to jump into. The art style is really cute too. It's like
kind of retro-y looking,
retro, like kind of like 90s, arcade kind of style, and really easy to jump into. So yes, on Switch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Check it out.
All right, now on to Elden Ring. You have been having some
problems.
intense emotional moments with Elden Ring lately because you're stuck. This seems to be the weekly update is you're stuck, but then you move on.
I get stuck, and then I hopefully will get
You lose
unstuck
all hope,
soon.
and then
I
you
lose
move
all
on.
Hope.
And then you get stuck again. We're pretty deep into this game. I don't know exactly.
You're ahead of me because you got unstuck.
Yeah. So the enemy in question that we were both stuck on for a long time is the fire giant.
Yes.
Who is well named. He's large and he shoots fire at you.
I don't like him. He's terrible.
It's not the best boss in the game.
No.
I think not because it's hard,
right.
but it doesn't really seem to work that well with the game's mechanics.
I was going to say, I don't feel like I'm fighting. The boss is not the fire giant. The boss is the game's camera.
Yeah.
That is the actual boss I'm fighting.
And the lock-on system I found.
Yeah.
We have different characters. I mean, you have more range stuff. I have no range stuff. I need to get in close.
I mean, for me, I'm just like, I just couldn't even make any progress. That was the most frustrating part. Like before, when you fought these big hard bosses, you felt like, okay, I'm going to learn the way that he fights me, and then I'm going to improve.
Yeah.
Like every single time I fight him, I'm going to learn a little bit more. This one just seemed like it was impossible even to make those kinds of like incremental improvements or like steps. Like you were just fighting the camera the entire time. He would one-shot me.
Right.
So if you missed a dodge, you missed a roll, you would just immediately die. Like you basically had to have this like flawless, perfect run, which was almost nearly impossible to do because you were again fighting the mechanics and the camera the whole time. So I was just like, no, I can't do this. Like with the current status of my character. So I did leave for a while, and so I have like a they call it a magus build, I guess. So it's like a sorceress that has like some melee capabilities. So I do have like, pretty high damage sword that a rapier that I use, and then
not like I do.
Not like you do. Your sword is very two-handed, like massive, like whatever. I mean, so I still can get up close in melee. Yeah. And I have some health. I have health. But I can also cast spells and do some range as well, which I really like. But I just found that it was impossible with this boss. So I went back and I tried to get some stronger spells. I tried to level up my weapons a little bit more. I tried to give myself a couple more levels to get some more health points and more FP. I went back last night and I still couldn't do it, but I did feel like I was better.
Okay.
Like I was able to get him down to like maybe 1/6 or 1/8
wow.
of his health.
That's
a couple
great.
of times.
Yeah.
So I feel like I just need to get better at a couple of things, and maybe there was this one other spell that I wanted to get to see if it would just help me in that second phase, because I do a lot of range in the second phase.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I should go back and get that spell tonight before I go back in.
Right.
But it's not as frustrating as and he's not one shot killing me anymore. Because I did get a couple more health points, which is good. But man, it's been a full on like week of just being stuck, and
it has been a while.
I'm like, if I can't do it with this setup, like I just have to stop. Maybe I have to.
If you do it within an eighth of his life, you're very close. So it's coming.
I hope so.
You just got it's like playing the slots at Vegas. Eventually you're gonna win.
Triple cherries, let's go.
Eventually you're gonna win. Yeah, for me, like melee only, like I gotta get close.
Yeah.
So I was having issues with the lock-on where the lock-on would lock onto a weird part of its body.
Yeah, his chest,
that
right?
And it's like, and I would swing and I'm whiffing. It's like, I can't reach that. I need to hit his legs.
Yeah.
So I would have to actually manually unlock when I would get close.
Yeah.
And then hit. And then when he would start to attack, lock again so I could actually see what was happening.
Yeah.
And then do the dodge. So that was a really weird
It's super weird
thing I had to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it took me days also.
Yeah.
I'm just glad to be beyond it.
Yeah.
But now I'm in the final legacy dungeon.
Hopefully.
I'm at that boss. No, I looked it up. It says this is the last one.
Thank God.
So I'm at the boss. That boss is a more traditional boss. I haven't beaten it yet, but I'm not too worried about it.
Okay.
And that dungeon felt like a cakewalk after that boss. Yeah.
That's the thing. I was like, it sounds like what's after is not it's not like it's going to be frustrating forever.
No,
like,
I think
until the end.
I think this is just a weird boss. I mean, I'm sure the final bosses will be really hard, but for different reasons.
Not for the camera doesn't work.
Yeah, not for we're fighting the mechanics of the game.
Yeah, and also the other thing is that you can choose to ride torrent or not.
Oh,
And that could really mess you up too.
Right.
Like if you're trying to do all these things, it's like there's so many elements of that fight that can just like mess you up.
Right.
So, anyways, I will keep you all up. I'm sure you don't care.
I'm feeling ready to be about done with this game after how long has it been?
I think so. I'm getting pretty tired of it.
I'm not tired of it, but I'm like...
Well, I'm tired of it right now.
I mean, you're tired of that. I just feel like I've, had a good experience.
We really got a lot out of this game. My goodness.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's
you
incredible.
You should see my YouTube watch history.
Yeah.
It's slightly
deranged.
insane. Like, it's deranged. It's like Fire Giant Sorcerer, Fire Giant Comet Azure, Fire Giant... Like, it's just like all my recommendations now are just Elden Ring like videos, which is like what
somebody should actually make Elden Ring cheese, like real cheese.
Because
I'm sure that's part of your history is like Fire Giant cheese.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How to cheese every single boss.
How to cheese every boss.
Make the real cheese.
I only cheese the one boss. I'm not.
The cheese is not always easy.
It's not always.
I'm like, oh, here we go, and then I watch the video. It's like, well, I can't do that. Anyway.
That's true. Yeah. Anyways.
Right. Kind of a short what we're playing segment this week.
But we have a big news segment.
This
really big stories.
This news segment is chonky. And we have news music.
Oh my gosh, the news music is awesome.
Which we snuck in at the last second last week. It is by a wonderful person named Parker Deal. Thank you, Parker, for this.
Parker's like, please stop singing the news jingle.
Just made this out of the goodness of his heart for us, and it's wonderful. Very nice addition.
Yes, thank you.
So last week there was all this shuffling with Nintendo's release dates for this year, and we want to spend some time talking about this. We did talk about it in our bonus Q&A.
Yeah.
But even after that, there was more that happened.
So
we need to just comprehensively go through everything here.
Yeah. So what we predicted would happen, and many of you also predicted this, came to pass, which was Splatoon 3 and Xenoblade basically traded places.
Right, so the first domino to fall was Xenoblade Chronicles moved up to July 29th.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, what does this mean? And we accurately predicted that
Splatoon
might
traded to September 9th.
From summer. Now, is September 9th technically still summer? I think it might be.
It is, because September 21st is the first day of fall.
How do you know that?
Solstice.
Huh?
Or not, it's not the solstice, actually. I just know.
Really?
Yes, I swear.
Do you know the first day of every season?
I do. It's the 21st of every single day of
Really?
So first day of summer is June 21st. The first day of fall is September 21st. The winter solstice is December 21st.
Really?
And the first day of spring is April 21st.
That's amazing.
Did I just blow your mind?
Wow, you kind of did.
Look at him. I swear to you, that is true.
I don't doubt you. That's incredible.
So it is still summer.
I didn't see anybody do that. It's not delayed. It's still summer. I didn't see that.
Late summer.
That is not summer in my book, but I guess technically it still is.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about so for Xenoblade they put out like a really intense trailer.
Yeah.
It was more than just like here's the new date. Like it was like a legit trailer.
And it has like a lot of updates and a lot of stuff
looks
in there.
really good.
Yeah, looks amazing.
A lot of story details in there that again as a very casual Xenoblade fan, I did not...
Kind of went over our heads.
I did not understand.
But it looked amazing. It looked really cool.
This game looked fantastic.
Yeah.
I will be looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah. Splatoon, though.
Splatoon. So that had a very different approach where it put, the trailer was basically a match of the game.
Right.
With the new release date attached to it. So interesting, just there that two very different approaches, a full cinematic trailer versus like, here's a drop of some new gameplay.
Right. And the gameplay itself also was pretty samey to Splatoon 2, in my opinion.
Yes, that's what I thought as well. And that was kind of a feeling I had for a little while.
Even when they announced the game in the latest, or they talked more about the game in the latest Direct.
Yeah.
Just felt a little bit like, yeah, sure, there's some new weapons, some new specials, but like...
Could be a new single-player campaign.
Yeah.
But, I mean, me just eyeballing this video, I was like...
If I was at a glance, if I looked really quickly, I don't know if I'd be able to tell. Right.
So that's interesting, and I don't know if they're using this time to completely, overhaul the game. Obviously,
they don't have time to do that.
There's still months to go. There's a lot we don't know.
Right. Let's hope that the single player campaign is really strong, because that's actually a really good differentiator for that game.
I'd love to get some sort of a new mode, maybe. You know, we got Salmon Run in Splatoon 2, which was great and really substantial. Obviously, that's coming back. That also looked a little bit samey to me.
Oh, totally.
I would love, whether it's a new ranked mode or something else, that would be a really nice addition. I put out a tweet just, making that point, and it was really interesting.
There's a lot of different opinions
the
there.
Discourse was happening in the replies. And, I would look at like who was making different comments, and the dedicated hardcore Splatoon community was there telling me I was wrong.
Yeah, but of course they would be the ones that notice all the little details.
And obviously I'm not representing, my point of view is not the competitive Splatoon community. It's been a while since I played Splatoon 2, frankly.
Yeah.
And, honestly, Nintendo, for a game of Splatoon size, wants and needs to reach more than the dedicated Splatoon community.
Right.
They want this game to be a huge hit.
Huge hit, like a blockbuster.
Casual crossover hit, everybody. So I think that's something that they, need to be aware of, is how people are perceiving what they're putting out on this game. And hopefully next time that, whether it's, a summer direct or a dedicated direct, I think both of those are on the table.
They need to really show what's different and unique and what makes this game stand out from Splatoon 2 to prove to us that it's not just like a thing where you could just do an update, DLC or something like that.
Yeah, for a game, I think this was the point we made with Mario Kart. It's like, you need to rethink what it means to have a new game versus just an ongoing game that you can continually
And both
update.
are very legitimate ways of going about something.
Right.
Like if they just wanted to have Splatoon not be numbered and just continually update Splatoon, the game, I think people would be fine with that.
You can do that. There's ways to make money off of that. You could sell those updates.
Right, exactly.
There's ways to do that. So yeah, I just wasn't super wowed by that.
I wasn't either.
I'm not writing the game off at all. I'm
sure it'll be fun still, but
I'm still very eager to see what comes. But I had a big wow to the Xenoblade trailer. I did not have the reaction to that.
Yeah, exactly. And of course they dropped that new date at the end of that trailer very nonchalantly.
Yeah. So this has been I forget how many weeks ago that Zelda update came out. So we had a lot of shuffling in the calendar.
Already, yeah.
So I want to go through the current 22 release schedule. This is first party only, mind you. So a few days.
Switch Sports.
April 29th, Nintendo Switch Sports. June 10th, Mario Strikers Battle League.
Nice.
Then June 26th, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, July 29th. That's a pretty good run
for the summer.
From now to summer.
Yeah,
obviously
that's a lot.
You're not going to see much shuffling there because that's soon.
That's pretty soon.
But that's good.
And Strikers is going to be a big one to take us through this summer, I think. So that's going to that's great.
Xenoblade, these are all pretty substantial games.
Substantial games.
So then we get into the fall. Splatoon 3, September 9th. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet just noted late 2022. I think we both think that will be the November game.
It's definitely the November game.
The sort of pre-Black Friday game, which is where you put your biggest game.
Yep.
Give it the best chance to succeed.
Exactly.
We have Bayonetta 3, which is TBD this year. I could see that getting into October.
I think it could be October.
I think that could be the October game.
But if they need to, they can slip it to December if they need the time.
Sure. I guess this is not technically a first-party game, but kind of, sort of. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. That's TBD this year.
That could actually be October as well.
Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It's going to be a holiday game.
I don't think that game will be delayed, so I think that'll make it.
The holiday game.
And then we also have just kind of in, the TBD purgatory, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp.
I know.
That's not, being honest, I love that game. I can't wait to play that. I wouldn't put it in the same caliber of impact of some of these others.
Exactly. So much more of a niche audience.
Yeah, I could see them.
So they'll probably just drop it sometime.
I could see them layering it. It's not going to hold a month necessarily.
No. It might go, maybe it goes October with something else.
Yeah. And then we have, I just noted here, the Mario movie. Don't forget. Do not forget.
There's more.
December 21st.
There's going to be another game, for sure.
So,
I feel like.
Kind of what you want in the September, the quote, holiday season. You really need 3 to 5 big games.
Huge games.
In the September, October, November, December to really, make a huge impact. And I think Nintendo's been really good at having that through the years.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see where these other games place out. I'm pretty sure one of these will be October because you want to have,
one every month.
Every month.
One big game every month.
The month you can skip is December.
Yeah.
Because
that's too late.
It's past Black Friday. You're missing out on a lot of the big sales opportunities. So sometimes there are games that slip in and it's fine.
Like Smash.
Right. It's fine.
But it was early. If you're gonna do December, it has to be like that first week.
Yeah.
If you go anywhere later than that, you might as well just not do it.
Right. So you just kind of did some research and looked back at all the years of the Switch generation of all the holiday seasons. It's interesting to go through how well they have done of following this template. So 2021, September, WarioWare Get It Together. October, Metroid Dread. Also October, Mario Party Superstars. And then November, Pokemon, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl.
The other thing you'll notice is that usually the biggest, like, quote, family game is the one that's closer to Black Friday.
Yeah.
Because they, of course, want that mass audience appeal.
Right.
So a game like Metroid would never be in that later spot.
Right.
So that's another thing.
2020, this was the pandemic year. We're lucky to have been getting any games at all that year, but we had September, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, October, and then November, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I think this is the weakest of all the years, but again...
We had Animal Crossing. We were all good.
Yeah, and things were happening. We had Animal Crossing earlier. All is forgiven.
Yeah.
2019, September, Link's Awakening. Mid-October, Ring Fit Adventure. Late October, Luigi's Mansion 3. And then mid-November, Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah. See, these November dates for Pokemon are pretty consistent. So you can probably...
But you remember, it wasn't always like that when they had the split localization. It used to be it would come out in Japan and then later, like March-ish.
Yeah. I'm glad that they do global releases now, though. It makes it so much easier. Yeah,
that was
everybody.
A huge change. 2018, September. This was an interesting one. The Xenoblade 2 Torna expansion. That was very big, though.
Yep.
Super Mario Party, early October, mid-November, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, and then Smash Brothers.
That was the
12/7.
delayed. Yeah.
On the night of the Game Awards.
That's right. They delayed it to then for some reason. Oh, boy.
Your last stand.
I can't talk about this, right? I think I cried that night. Anyways, moving on.
And then 2017, the first year of the Switch. This was loaded up. This year.
Man, look at this year.
Listen.
It can maybe not be
the people who were saying
again.
2022 is going to beat 2017. No, it's not.
No,
2017.
look at this. Woo!
We got to start with August. Last couple days of August, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. September, Pokken Tournament DX. October 20th, Fire Emblem Warriors. October 27th, Super Mario Odyssey. And then December 1st, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Wow.
Yeah.
On top of everything else that year. Banger after banger.
That's right.
My goodness. So
let's go back here to 2022, this year. So we have a couple of holes to fill. So we got the September game.
So if we're making this, if we are, John Q. Nintendo, where are we placing these games?
I would place Mario plus Rabbids in the October timeframe if I were John Q. Nintendo. Yeah. Unless they can get it out earlier. Which
John Q. Ubisoft in that case.
John Q.
Jean Q. Ubisoft.
Guillermo. Yes. Jean-Pierre Ubisoft will be, I would say October. Unless you can get it out earlier, then August would be fine.
Here's what I would do. Early October for that.
Yeah.
Late October for Bayonetta. To get those Halloween vibes.
That's the other thing. Luigi's Mansion was that because there was a whole thing.
On Halloween.
It was like, we want this to be the next, like the traditional thing that you do at Halloween, play Luigi's Mansion.
That was a big drum I was banging.
Yeah.
And nobody
I
really
like
cared.
that idea.
I would tell people, like, it was like the next year, it was like, all right, what's our plan? Well, let's get some Luigi's Mansion stuff for Halloween.
And then no one would be like, shut up, go away.
Shut up, dummy.
That's true that people do traditional things around the holidays. Like you watch these Christmas movies, or you watch
Charlie Brown or whatever.
You watch your Hocus Pocus. I do.
Right.
Anyways.
I actually don't like Charlie Brown.
Bayonetta 3, so Halloween vibes.
So Bayonetta 3, Halloween.
Then you have November is Pokemon Scarlet Violet.
Yes.
And then Advanced Wars, see, again, that one could be anywhere. Maybe
put it wherever you'd like.
December, I mean, whatever.
Move it to Q1 if you need to.
Yeah, but maybe December will be fine.
But depending on, sometimes the Q1 can get a little sparse.
That's true.
If you want something there to just,
Like
have a new
tide
release,
people over.
have something to talk about, that could
In
be cool.
January.
That could be cool too.
Yeah, late January.
So now you seem very convinced, and again, we have no
idea.
inside information.
I don't have any.
We don't know. You seem convinced there is another game. This is pretty full. You seem convinced that there's another game to go in here.
I think there's another
big.
I think there's another big game.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a game that is a Mario game for the movie, and
All right.
I think it's going to come out like in that Black Friday timeframe.
All right.
That's what I think. I'm putting it out there now.
I mean, that's it's a lot of heavy hitters between that and Pokemon, if those are both coming out in November. I remember that there was one year, I think we released Mario 3D World. This is the Wii U version.
Okay.
And Zelda: A Link Between Worlds on the same day.
Same day on 3DS.
Why did we do that?
We're stupid.
Again, we don't choose these dates. Somebody else is choosing
really
these dates.
Not a great idea.
Yes, they're two different systems, but why? Please, why?
Yeah.
Please no.
I don't know. I just have a feeling that there's got to be, if they're going to make this big splash finally with this Mario movie,
Right.
there's got to be a game.
I understand what you're saying, but as I look at this calendar, I don't see a lot of openings, so I don't know.
They're going to bump something.
You think something's getting bumped? You didn't say that. What's getting bumped?
Advance Wars can be bumped anytime.
That doesn't matter about Advance
Mario
Wars.
and Rabbids could be bumped. Jean-Pierre won't be happy, but maybe.
Well, what if the thinking is like, well, there's our Mario game. We got a Mario game with the rabbits, and then the rabbits are in the rabbits are in the movie. You didn't know that. Yeah, this is the studio that made Minions. You know, it's like a minion, a rabbit.
It's terrible.
That's
Oh my
that's the sound
gosh.
they make, right?
Woo.
No.
That would be very strange. I hope that doesn't happen. Yeah.
All right. Are you staking your name to this?
I'm staking my name to this.
So that there will be a huge Mario game to coincide with the movie.
I think so, yes.
Mario the movie, the game. Can't
Mario
wait.
the movie, the game,
Great.
starring what's his face?
Just like the old school Street Fighter, the movie, the game. They're going to digitize Chris Pratt, and you're going to play as digitized Chris Pratt, looking like it's Mortal Kombat or something.
Wow, that seems quite violent for a Mario game.
Well, he's not doing Mortal Kombat stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then you can have like a digitized Goomba that you can go boop, 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 boop.
He's gonna like rip someone's heart out or something?
It's a me. Chris
Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Yo.
All right, and not so fun news.
Oh my goodness.
Not so fun news.
Yes. This was, there was kind of a double whammy of stories that came out about Nintendo last week. The first one was Nintendo hit with labor complaint. This is the original story from Stephen Totillo of Axios, someone we know very well.
Yeah.
And I'll just read it here. There's an allegation that Nintendo of America and a global hiring firm that it uses was engaged in concerted activities and made coercive actions against a worker interfering with their legally protected right to organize, in other words, unionize.
Unionize, yeah.
Right. And so this person was a contractor. Mm-hmm. And as I read through the story, I was like, I think this is a two-part story. Because obviously the unionization was front and center. But the fact of this person being a contractor was standing out to me as a major part as well. Which is interesting. We got part two a few days later.
Yeah, which exactly was that.
From Kotaku, the article, the Nintendo of America contractors who feel like second-class workers.
Yes.
That is an extremely long and in-depth article that is too in-depth for us to really summarize, but it really does talk about...
You guys should read it, though, because it really goes into a lot of detail about people's personal accounts of what's happening.
The experience of being a contractor.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to be a contractor? Let's back up.
So at Nintendo of America, there are two kinds of employees. There is a full-time employee.
There's me and there's everybody else.
Well, that's how these people felt, okay?
The second-class employees who are not Kid Ellis.
I mean, pretty much. We were both full-time employees, but there also are contractors or contract employees. So how that works is they go through a staffing agency. Nintendo uses a regular staffing
This one
agency.
I hadn't heard of this one actually. I think it was a different one that we had heard
They use
of.
one for
I guess there's a couple.
For the product testing contractors and one for marketing, I think. But we hire people or Nintendo hires people for a certain amount of time, which is like their contract period.
Right.
What they don't get though is like the benefits of a full-time employee, like health benefits, retirement, those things. And there are many times where contract workers on the marketing side, even on our team that we used to work on, they were...
Yeah, we had a few over the years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they can remain contractors, or there could be opportunities for them to be converted to full-time employees, which has also happened before.
Yeah, sometimes that's how you look at it. Like, oh, well, it's a tryout for this person, and maybe we can convert them.
Yeah.
But sometimes not. Sometimes it's like their time runs out, and you say goodbye.
And you have to let them go, right?
Right.
And in this story in particular, I believe that the contractors that are speaking out are those that work in the Redmond office, that are working not on the marketing side, but more on the testing side.
Right.
And that team actually employs like a very high percentage of contractors, the testing side. And they're on sort of a unique system where they're on these timed contracts, and they have to take sort of a mandatory break in between, and then they can sign up again.
None of this, I think, is actually unique to Nintendo, though. This is just kind of, there's
how it works.
There's companies everywhere in and out of gaming who use contractors, and this is just kind of the formula for how it works.
How it works,
again, we saw every variation of this. We had somebody who worked for us as a contractor and became full-time. We had somebody, who was under contract when we left, who, we were hoping we could convert. We don't know what will come of that.
Yeah.
That's really, we talk about like the Wii U days and like, oh, we're glad we didn't get laid off and there wasn't a fear of that. One of the reasons is like the number of employees is managed very tightly.
Yeah.
So you don't get too big. And, that can be a struggle in the really busy times. But again, it does help people to not worry about their job status when things, get tough. One of the ways you can get around that is using these contractors.
Right.
So, again, I think that's, kind of the thinking there. But, the unionization part is interesting. In the Kotaku story, they go through kind of the account of what happened where it came up in like a team meeting around the time that this was happening in all of the, around the industry. There were different people talking about unionization or actually doing it. Something similar actually happened in our team meeting. I don't know if this was before you had joined or if you were still with PR. But somebody asked, just very, casually, like, well, what would that mean if, we were to unionize or Nintendo was to unionize? And I was one of the times I think I gave a terrible answer because I didn't know. I was like, this is not something that I've really thought about.
Yeah.
So I was like, I honestly don't know. We need to look at it and see, what the benefits are.
But it's not like you discouraged.
Absolutely not.
Right, that's
but it was
within
just,
their rights.
Yeah, I mean, I always like to have answers for people, but in this case, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, the stance, I mean, it's a little bit, I think for managers, like, it could vary based on like what their knowledge of that situation
and nobody was saying like, oh, we should do this.
Right.
It was just like, what would this mean? So I was like, we need to really understand what the implications would be and how that would impact us. And I usually think of like unions as like, it's like, oh, there's the plumbers union and the pipe fitters union. But I think, for game developers, you see that being an option of avoiding crunch and other kind of bad situations. Again, for kind of broader gaming, I would need to educate myself a lot more to understand. So if there's any resources about that, I'd love to see those.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing that you and I were talking about after these stories broke, is that like a lot of the times when you read these stories about people feeling, discriminated against, or they feel like they're not being heard, it's because of like bad managers and like how there's really no training, there's no requirements from not just at Nintendo, but like at like many companies where you don't have like the toolbox or the skill set to be a good manager.
Yeah.
So you get yourself into these really bad situations where these people feel like you're dismissive or whatever. So, that's part of it too.
I never had a job, again, at Nintendo or anywhere else, where when I would manage people, they would be like, well, here's, our expectation for what that means, or here's what you need to do. It was always just like, well, figure it out.
Figure it out. Talk to the person that you're managing and figure it out.
Like, by the time I left, I was managing like 13 people. So that was the main part of my job.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people really understand how distinct that shift is when you become a manager of like, no, you need to dedicate a significant portion of your time to looking out for this other person and helping them.
And like understanding them and understanding what they expect of you.
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the things that really stood out to me as I read the second article is that like, it just doesn't seem like anyone was equipped to do that.
Yeah, so it's like, you hear like, oh, well, schools these days should teach like money management instead of trigonometry. And it's like, yeah, like these businesses should teach people management.
Teach people management.
Instead of, something else, that there is. Because when you and I became, manager, employee, we did do a meeting with HR and they were like, kid is responsible for Krysta. And we would joke about that sometimes.
Do people know this? I don't know if people know this.
Oh, now you're blushing now.
You're really telling secrets out of school, huh?
And it was like, we would joke about that, but it was like, yeah.
You really are, though.
You are responsible for that person.
And this person's like salary.
There's a lot that hinges on what you can do for them.
Yeah, their career growth hinges on your manager. Yeah. Like, so if you don't have a good one, like, good luck, The other thing, just from my personal observations of when I went to Redmond and when I was working at Nintendo about our contractors is it did really feel like they were separate from like the full-time, like more like business corporate, like, side of it. Like when you go see them in the cafe and stuff, they'd always be like off to one side. I don't know if that was something that they, you kind of like when you're at school, you sit with your friends, but like there was not a lot of like mixing of the two sides. And again, this is my own personal observation. There was a note, there was something in here about in the article about how a lot of the contractors were discouraged from walking through the main lobby. I distinctly remember that there was a separate entrance for those contractors. I don't know if that was a security thing or because they are working on unreleased games. And of course, Nintendo, as you guys know, is very like leak adverse.
Right.
And of course, they have to probably go through a whole security thing to get into that building. We were never allowed in that building, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, it did feel like, they were not it wasn't like one happy family kind of thing. Like it was separate, Did you feel like that?
It is interesting because, again, the contractors that we worked with, I mean, they're incredible. Like, and they immediately were like, oh, you belong on this team. So I can understand the frustration of like, I'm contributing. I feel like I belong here. I'm on the level of these other people, but you're not. But I'm not.
Yeah.
And what gives?
Right.
So I can understand that frustration. There's a whole, I said there's two layers to this. I think there's a third layer about, QA and testers also and kind of their place in the industry.
Right.
And I noticed that too in, other places that I worked where, there were definitely people who would look down on them or like be like think, oh, well, they're not, they're not the same kind of employees we are. But I don't know. I mean, like they're like legitimate game developers, I feel, and
they're contributing, like,
really contribute
fully,
to the outcome of a game.
Yeah, I mean, they're finding these bugs. They're making the experience good for the end player.
I mean, I did like the Nintendo games. They put QA in the credits.
Right.
The credits of Nintendo games are very tightly managed. Of like you have strictly developers in there, and they're in there, so that's a nice acknowledgement of that. But I think around the industry,
side, though. The credits, they're crediting like the heads of those departments. They're not crediting the actual people that are like, like the contractors that are working on those.
Well, I don't know. Everybody.
Yeah, but that I think that's what it is. Because someone was saying in the article too that like they don't ever get credit. Their managers are getting the credit for stuff that they discovered. And it's really discouraging. I can totally see that. It's like you did all this great work and no one even knows you exist, you know?
Right.
And you're not in the credits, but your bad manager is. It's like, dang, that sucks, That would feel bad.
Do you know I was in the credits when I worked at Namco?
I know that.
You do?
Yeah, I saw it.
Why do you know that?
It's on your wiki page.
Really?
Yeah.
My wiki page. Oh, no.
It was.
Just in my IMDb page. No big deal.
Anyways, yeah.
My Oscars. my Oscars, my Emmys, my Grammys, my spoken word Grammy, my daytime Emmy.
Oh, your daytime Emmy.
Yeah, I got all those.
Golden Globe? Your Gigi?
Don't have that one yet.
Oh.
No, I don't want it though.
GG.
It's beneath me. All right, from one feel-bad story to an even worse feel-bad story, Sonic Origins.
Oh, this was so bad.
Was announced. So this is a kind of compilation. Why do we have Sonic news every week?
But this one's actually, it proves your point that it's bad. So that's good.
So this is a repackaging of the first 3 Sonic games.
Yeah.
And they had some cool stuff of like you can play with the different characters. And I mean, it's not unusual to have these kinds of, repackagings here and there because they're perpetually of interest. But they had these very strange DLC packages in the article we picked here. The headline was Sonic Origins raises the bar for confusing and unnecessary DLC. And
it was very nickel and diming.
They put out this chart. So there's 5 different versions. The standard edition, what does this say? I can't read this. Start Dash Pack. Premium Fun Pack. I love the Premium Fun Pack. I have to always go for that. Classic Music Pack and the Digital Deluxe Edition. And it's like, all right, like maybe if there's substantial stuff to differentiate these, you could do it.
These tiny little things.
It's really like splitting hair stuff. Like, is there a little letterbox background? Is there a character animation in the main menu? You need the Premium Fun Pack if you're getting that.
Yeah.
I was just like, what's the point? What's going on? What's going on here? Yeah. Why are we doing this?
What's the point?
Yeah.
People seem very turned off by this.
Oh, and there's certain things that you can also only get in a pre-order as well.
Right.
100 bonus coins. Got a pre-order for that.
Yeah.
Why? Come on, don't do this.
Don't do this. DLC, people are already like wary of it.
We need to get
We need to get like industry standard
on
DLC.
It seemed like we were at a time where people were pretty good with DLC. I remember like the horse armor days, people freaked out. And, like DLC is bad. Oh, the DLC is on the disc. Now I'm freaking out. It seemed like we're at kind of a nice place, and then stuff like this.
Don't do this.
Stuff like, don't ruin more than you already have, Sonic. Ruined my life.
Oh my gosh.
Last story.
Moving on.
Another 6.
Wow.
I'm going to turn into the Joker because of this. Sega is developing, this is interesting, developing big budget Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio reboots. Did you play original versions?
I played original Crazy Taxi.
Did you have a Dreamcast?
No.
No.
But I had friends that had.
Yes.
Crazy Taxi's fun.
I played these games. This was the first and only Sega system that I got over my issues. When I bought it months before they shut it down. Little did I know they were going to shut it down. But I played these games. These are fun games.
They're fun. Yeah, I don't think I played Jet Set Radio.
Sega has something called the, quote, Super Game Initiative, great name, and they are looking to develop new and innovative titles with a focus on global reach, online interactivity, community building, and IP utilization. And these are the 2 games this is rumored that they are going to be focused on.
Nice.
So this is like Crazy Taxi meets Fortnite. Sounds like a smash hit. Can't wait to see that.
It could be kind of fun. It could be fun.
I mean, I understand why they would want to expand some of these IP like this.
Yeah.
I don't know how they chose these. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, I don't know what else they've got. Yakuza. No, keep your hands off Yakuza.
Yeah, don't do that. No
Crown Jewel.
No Fortnite Yakuza.
No.
Okay. I don't know what to say.
You've got no take on this?
Oh, I thought we were ending the segment.
I saw somebody made a comment of like, how many people really know about taxis these days? versus taking like,
crazy
Uber or a Lyft or
big budget
like,
crazy
Uber.
Is
it relevant to make a game about taxis?
Do people still know about radios?
Is that like VHS Hero or something? Like
Jet Set
flip phone.
Jet Set Apple Music.
Jet Set Motorola Razr. I don't know. Sega's gonna keep doing these antics. This is rumored. Maybe it won't happen. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll be there to laugh when it does.
Watch and laugh. Yes.
All right. Questions.
Oh my gosh, questions.
We have, I think this is 14 questions, so we need to
you're
jump
just slipping the questions
right in. We have a lot of questions.
Okay, all right.
And we do even more in our bonus Q&As, which has become the favorite thing that we do week to week, our bonus Q&As.
Because what happens is there's news that gets announced.
Sometimes, yeah.
And then we're like, why don't we just put it in the bonus Q&A?
Yeah, like tomorrow, your Mario the movie, the game could be announced, and we have to talk about it.
And then there you go. Okay,
But InDesigner, again, these are all from Patreon, so thank you, asks, back in the early years of Amiibo, it seemed like Nintendo struggled with production of these figures. Often shops in North America would only see single-digit quantities of the more desirable ones. Was Nintendo ever made aware as to the actual reason behind this rollout strategy? Well, it's one of those things where you want to make enough to get them out there and to sell out, but you don't want to make so many that they're just, marooned on a shelf forever.
Right.
So and
anything like physical, like toy kind of thing, it's like really hard to get that balance.
And especially since now it's like a trickle of amiibo coming out. Back then it was like every month there was like a new one. So you kind of need it to turn over.
Yeah. To make room for the next one.
Because you only get this much shelf space. It's not like, oh, we have more, now we're taking twice as much space.
Yeah.
It don't work that way.
The retailers don't do that.
Yeah. So I think that was it. And you kind of saw this too with like a lot of the other physical things, like, the NES Mini, like, are they going to make enough? And it became this collector's item. Mm-hmm. I think that was just the weird dance that they were playing of with how can we, get these out there and make sure we make enough, but also not really end up with like
a bunch of stock.
Now I need to dump all these Dark Pit amiibo in this landfill because I made too many. You don't want that.
That would be unfortunate. Yeah.
And that's a delicate dance. I think they always favored on being more conservative.
Very conservative. That's why there's only like 2.
There were absolutely a lot of those that were like impossible to find.
Right.
Brooke Obscura. Mm-hmm. Are there any video game soundtracks that you listen to despite not really enjoying the game they're from?
Oh.
I've got a good one.
You do? Go ahead.
You haven't considered these questions at all.
I have considered.
No.
I'm
this is why you're just looking at me blankly as I'm reading a news story.
Blankly.
I'm going to say something shocking here.
Oh no, here we go.
I'm going to pay a compliment to Sonic the Hedgehog.
You like the game soundtrack?
I actually think the music in Sonic the Hedgehog is not bad. That's the only thing that I like about Sonic the Hedgehog is the music and sound effects.
Oh.
I think the Green Hill Zone song is a close to perfect video game song.
Wow.
So, and to some of the other stuff, it's like, I don't hate this. So there we go. Look at that. Look at me with the olive branch for the Sonic
After you
people.
Railed on them for 10 minutes.
After I said Sonic ruined my life.
Yeah, seriously. Let's see. A game that I dislike. What games do I dislike?
You tell me. You can just pass if you don't know.
I feel like there's not really a lot of games that I hate. I don't hate games like you do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I only hate that one.
Okay.
So this is a pass from you.
Pass.
We're moving on.
Pass. All right.
John
98.
Yeah. You read this one.
I know there were heavy rumors for a while about Metroid and Fortnite, but that didn't seem to be true with an
eye emoji.
Eye emoji, laughing emoji. Sort of a 3-part question related to this. 1, do either of you play Fortnite? 2, do you think we'll ever see any Nintendo characters in Fortnite? 3, who would you be most excited to see in Fortnite?
Okay.
1.
Well, 1, yes.
We play Fortnite.
I like Fortnite.
Me too.
I'm positive on Fortnite.
Yeah.
I don't play it all the time, every day.
But when I play it, it's fun.
I have a good experience with
right.
it. So the next, do you think we'll ever see any Nintendo characters? So it's impressive how many characters they've added to Fortnite.
Yeah.
But where I get hung up on it is
the gun thing.
And then it's just like, okay, we added Naruto to Fortnite. And that's cool. And he looks like Naruto. And you can ninja run, but now he's shooting in an AK-47.
Yeah.
And the whole thing breaks for me.
Yeah.
It's like, if they can have a way to actually translate how those characters play or what they're known for outside of just jamming them into the you need
skin or
you need to shoot guns.
Yeah.
Then we could be in business.
I think there's some characters that would work. Like Samus would work because she has she has an arm cannon.
Well, then they would actually need to program it where it's like
okay, I see what you're saying.
So they did add Spider-Man and you could do the swinging with Spider-Man.
Okay.
That was
That's
cool. That was a nod to that. If I was Nintendo, that's what I would want to see.
I don't think there's ever going to be a situation where Mario's holding a gun, first of all.
No.
That's not going to happen.
So. But if you could have, let's use the Samus example. If you had Samus in Fortnite and you could, do the arm cannon and you maybe if you pick up a different item, you get a different cannon variation.
Yeah.
That could be cool. Or if it's a special mode, they had that fight Thanos.
Oh, that's right. Everyone fights Thanos.
I think there's creative ways to do it. I would not, just let these Nintendo characters, pick up guns and shoot willy-nilly.
Exactly.
And maybe that's the next evolution for Fortnite. Is a deeper, if they really want this quote IP metaverse, really, show respect and pay off what all the IP is
It's
about.
kind of like what Mr. Sakurai does with Smash games.
Exactly. Versus
So,
just making it a skin.
Everybody just like punch like it's like all their movesets are developed from the original game that they're from.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like they had Kratos and you can get like the Kratos axe and that's like,
cool.
that's your melee weapon.
Yeah.
But it's like,
But then you still have a gun.
if you're going to do that, you want the axe to be the most powerful thing. And you want a reason to use that.
You want to incentivize people
and you want to be able to throw
it and have it come back to you and all that stuff.
Right. I think I'm surprised some of these IP holders have not twisted their arm more. I mean, obviously everybody wants to be in Fortnite.
They have so much power. Yeah, I mean, people want to see their IP there, so they're probably their litmus for that is low. Their bar is low.
Fortnite dropped a nickel, so Sony dives on it.
Dives right in. We're poor, remember? We gotta lay off these people. Who would you be most excited to see in Fortnite, though?
Oh boy, us. That's the answer. Make it happen.
We were the box art for one of their marketing pictures. Remember?
What?
They had those two characters that looked just like us.
Oh man!
Do you remember that?
We gotta dig that.
We gotta dig it up. It was so funny. Why was it us?
I don't know. That was really something
weird.
So.
Okay, we gotta dig it up. We'll show it to you guys in Discord. Okay, next question. Multi, good morning. Wanted to ask, what have you two been doing for work outside of the Kit and Krysta show / podcast? Ever since resigning from the San Francisco offices of Nintendo. Thanks again for all the wonderful content and insight from your experience at Nintendo.
The message was edited, it says.
Why?
What was the original version?
I don't know.
Maybe it was like really a rant.
Why?
And and then cooler heads prevailed. And he's like, I can't say that.
Why? What kind of rant would it be?
Well, the answer is nothing.
This is our job,
this is
you
it.
guys.
Which is why...
That's why we need you to help us, to continue making this content.
So when we say... we rely on our Patreon members, or we had a sponsor, or we had a sponsor in a Kit and Krysta show.
Yeah.
We really do rely on that.
We need you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want this to be a long-term job career
yes.
for us.
This is our next career step.
Right.
We took the leap from corporate stability for this.
Yes. So the support there is very appreciated and needed.
And actually really,
yes.
if you want to see this continue, we actually legitimately need you guys.
So thanks for asking.
Keep supporting us. Yes. Yes. Thanks for asking, and please keep supporting us.
All right. Get ready for this one. This is our weekly Don't Get Canceled question from Link. None other than Link himself. What are your, quote, controversial, why is it in quotes, non-gaming opinions?
You have one.
Again, I'm ready.
Can I say yours for you?
Sure.
You don't like mayonnaise.
Right. I think a lot of people know that about me.
Yeah.
But
explain why.
I despise it. Well...
to the people. I mean, I know why.
It's disgusting.
Okay.
Like I will literally vomit. If I smell it, the smell of it.
This was the worst thing for you when we were working and we had lunch meetings and people would order like sandwiches and then they would eat in the meeting.
Yeah.
And there was like mayonnaise and then they would you could see like their grease handprints.
Yeah, they're just like wiping their hands on this table. It's like a mayonnaise hand.
You would have like a bad reaction. Like, how do you pay attention in a meeting or like even have to present something when it's that situation?
I mean, mayonnaise or not, that's gross. I would never eat in a meeting. I would go hungry. I would just.
In a meeting. That's so weird.
Yeah.
But anyways, but you absolutely despise it.
And I get labeled as a picky eater because there's one thing I'm vocal about not eating. I will eat literally anything else. Literally. Okay?
Yes, that's
you know this about me.
I know this about you. That's
literally anything.
Your mom should be proud. You're a good
people
eater.
need to know there's a lot of things that have mayonnaise in it.
Yeah, like aioli has mayonnaise in it.
Like I have people like, so you like tartar sauce, right? And that's where the smoke comes out of my ears.
There's also mayonnaise in like Caesar salad dressing. Like you can't have
salad dressings, aiolis, remoulades, creamy sauces.
Creamy sauce.
Yes.
Grilled cheese sandwiches. Some people fry it with mayonnaise, which you don't know.
So now I don't get a grilled.
You can't get it
from a restaurant. If I make it myself, I know it's there.
Yeah, but from a restaurant, they can
no.
cloak and dagger.
There's a lot of stuff that.
Oh, spicy tuna rolls. To be very careful with spicy tuna rolls.
That's how you can define a good, classy sushi place from a place I shan't be seen at. I'll take my top hat and go elsewhere.
Please understand.
Now you have been stalling. You've been just peppering me with mayonnaise questions.
What about? I don't
You've got a big one, don't you?
What is it?
I don't know.
I thought you used it.
I don't know. Something you've never told anybody.
I thought you were going to tell me mine.
I don't know what yours is. Controversial opinion.
You don't have controversial opinions and very versatile.
You're taking a lot of passes on these questions. I don't like it, but let's move on.
I'm very normal.
This is kind of a long one. Let's see if we need to paraphrase from AOKB. Hi, Kit and Krysta. I'm curious what your thoughts are on ageism. Oh, great question for you. In the video game industry. I've wanted to get into journalism ever since the days of X-Play. I got a bachelor's degree in media studies, but unexpectedly ended up having to care for my family in my early 20s, and then spent my late 20s traveling in Asia. Sounds nice. Learning about my family heritage.
That sounds great.
Well, now here I am at 32 trying to
very young,
into the industry and being met with responses that I lack too much experience and I'm too old to gain it.
Oh, that's not good. That's illegal.
I'm considering grad school for journalism. Just interested what your thoughts are on the topic of ageism in game media. Wow.
Well, first of all, 32 is quite young, so don't worry.
I would say that the places that are telling you those things are not places that are worthwhile for you to work at, and you should say goodbye.
Yeah, you clearly have so much great experience from your travels and from the degrees that you got. I'm sure you're very passionate also about the industry. And like we were saying, we've been saying the same thing like for many weeks now. It's like everyone can learn this. Yeah. Like gaming industry is not some big mystery that you can't unravel. Like if you have a desire to learn, you can learn it. No matter how old you are.
Yeah, I mean,
no matter who you are, you can learn this.
I imagine, true, you may not have the experience, but if it's an entry-level position, you're qualified.
The expectation is that you are qualified to learn.
As you said, it is literally illegal to ask about that or to make that an issue.
So if someone did really ask you about that, you should seek counsel because that is very wrong for them to do that to you. Very wrong.
Yeah. Nintendo was not a place like this.
No.
There was a lot of respect. There was like plaques on the wall of the people who had worked at Nintendo for a long time, and there were events.
And they were giving lots of opportunities as they grew in the company, grew in their career. So
that was excellent, but I can understand it. Other companies that are a bit more, up and coming, where they just have a very homogeneous group of people working together. How don't be the old guy or whatever, and that's a bad place to work anyhow. So exactly. I'm sorry you had to deal with that.
Yeah. Piano Psychopath.
Ooh, that's
I keep
a good
thinking
name.
This is my mom.
Oh, what if it is?
She's like asking me box art questions about regions. How is the box art for different regions selected? Did either of y'all, I like that, have any inputs in the decision of what was chosen for the box art of games y'all worked
on? Typically, no.
Yeah.
The box art was decided
well
before we would even find out about a lot of games. So I think that must have had, obviously,
it's like a Japan
the art team in Japan, and there are probably discussions with our design team in the US.
Yeah. And they do different art,
and localization.
Yeah.
There was one time where I was asked for my opinion.
That's true.
When I worked on Zelda.
Yeah.
They gave me the two, so there was the art that North America went with, and then the art that Europe went with.
Right.
And they were like, well, which one do you like? I was like, why are you asking me? They're like, please help us choose. Like, oh my gosh.
Did you choose?
This is incredible. I chose the one that we used.
That's a good one.
And, Europe had their choice. They could have used the same one. They chose the other one. I don't know why. But the rationale was, that's the one of Link looking out. And it was like, oh, well, if you don't see his face, is it going to be an issue? It was no, this game is more about the world than Link himself. So that is the best representation of the game.
They had the other one of him on the cliff. Right?
Yeah.
Like him looking into the side. Yeah. That must have been the other one.
Yeah. So that was I was very glad to be involved in that conversation.
Sometimes you do get or you get to see it early. Like I saw the Smash box art early.
Yeah.
And they show you like the key illustrations for that campaign. Yeah. That's always fun.
This is a question for you from Water Pikmin. Hi. I asked this once on Twitter, but I wanted to put it here. Have either of you ever played MMOs? If so, do you have a favorite? If not, are there any you eventually want to try out?
Yeah, so I was a big World of Warcraft player when I was in college. So this was a long time ago. But I was really into it. Like I had a raid guild that I was a part of. I had like a very, high level holy priest that I would play, and it was super fun. I loved it. I actually had to give that up because I was spending so much time doing that and not really studying for college.
Did you actually get a bad grade because of that?
No, I wasn't sleeping at all, like anymore.
I see.
So that was pretty bad. So I ended up like just stopping because I was pretty too intensely into it, I think.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm an adult, which means I can do what I want and I don't have to do anything that people tell me
Goodbye,
to. So
sleep.
Here we go. Let's go with the MMOs. I want to play Final Fantasy. I keep talking about Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played Final Fantasy 11.
Okay.
On the PS2.
Ooh.
So I had the like bionic superpowered PS2 because I had the network adapter. I had the hard drive, which I stuck in there. This thing was amazing. I also had the crazy PS2 controller that had the keyboard in it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Wasn't really for me. I didn't have a group I was playing with, so
I think that's why.
I was trying to solo or just meet up with random people. I was like, I don't feel like I'm getting the real experience here.
Yeah, you need to find a group.
Yeah, so I haven't.
We became real friends.
What?
Like the people that I was playing we became like real life friends.
Right. So I just haven't played one since. I am very interested in Final Fantasy 14 though.
Yeah, I think that would be so much fun.
This next question made me laugh. Let's get ready to laugh. From The Mantis. I noticed a lot of official Nintendo podcasts and Treehouse videos do this thing where they always say the full game name they're talking about. For example, even after they've been discussing a game for a few minutes, everyone on the Nintendo Power podcast will make sure to use the full formal name and never just, for example, Link to the Past. Could you tell us why this is so important? It's kind of unintentionally hilarious to hear The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past 50 times in a 10-minute discussion about the best Zelda games. Thanks for telling us why Nintendo is so careful about this.
Oh, Nintendo.
Yes. Well, it's absolutely a legal thing.
It's a legal requirement. It's ridiculous.
Well, they would explain this to us sometimes of like, if you have a copyright or a trademark, if you do not use it...
If you officially do not use it correctly, you are depreciating the value of that trademark.
And you could potentially lose it?
Yeah.
If you really overdo it?
Right. Like what happened to Band-Aids?
Well, it could become a generic term.
It becomes a generic term.
Right.
Or because you're not using it correctly, what it was officially trademarked. Yeah. Like people could use your trademark and then you wouldn't have a case to ask them to not use your trademark.
It was one of those things, I mean, they really drilled that into us.
Strict.
But at the same time, I was like, is this real? Is this true?
Is this for true?
Because it seemed like we were very far on the end of doing it every single time.
Nintendo's very conservative when it comes to this kind of stuff, so I can see them doing that more so than maybe other brands. But yeah, we both were, what they called spokespeople at Nintendo, so we would be, doing interviews and we obviously be on Nintendo Minute and stuff like that and sometimes on the podcast. And yeah, they would basically approve every single video that we put out, and if you don't say it right, they'll make you redo it.
I guess I need to correct the person asking the question, because it wouldn't be positioned as The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. It would be The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past game, which was another thing they had to do.
Yeah.
You love to make our poor former friend and coworker Chris Slate, the host of the podcast, sweat by not following. You wouldn't follow these directions.
Because I think it's dumb. Sorry.
And then
I don't have to do it ever again.
He would take the heat, though.
I know he would. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry.
What a heel you are.
I'm just going to be calling things Switch instead of Nintendo Switch. I'm going to call it...
Wiimotes?
Wiimotes? Oh, Wiimotes.
We have a question about Wiimotes. I think that's going in the bonus.
It's gonna
be, no, it's the next one here. Oh, we got to do that next.
It's going to be Breath of the Wild instead of The Legend of Zelda.
We got to do that next. Mike W. In your recent discussion of Switch Sports, you mentioned the Wii Remote. That sparked a lot of curiosity I've had stemming back to the Wii era. As the fans and most of the industry affectionately started referring to them as Wiimotes, I noticed Nintendo and all of its spokespeople, including yourself, steadfastly called them Wii Remotes. I always thought it would be a great nod to the fans to adopt the Wiimote term. Did the company hate it, or was it more of a legal thing that caused them to refuse to acknowledge it?
It was definitely a legal
thing.
Yeah, legal. Legal siren. I was started at Nintendo, and one of my first events was a media event. And I was calling it Wiimote because I had just started and I was calling it how everybody called it. And I was corrected
Did you say
strictly.
So you hold the Wiimote and you do the waggle. Was that your official,
my official party line,
demo guidance?
My demo guidance, yeah. But they were like, it's Wii Remote. Please say it correctly. So I was trained.
Man.
I was trained to say it right.
We skipped around here. We can't miss this one. From Garrett M. 30. Is there any interesting story regarding the origin of your old catchphrase, Nintendo Minute is never a minute?
Well, the origin is that we got so many comments all the time about it, how it's not a minute, that we just decided to acknowledge it in a fun way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Please stop commenting about it, because we don't care.
A87 Kamui has a 3-part question. With owning multiple consoles, when a game is available on each console, how do you decide which console to purchase the game on? Part 2. Have you ever bought the same game on different consoles so you could play it on whichever console you're currently using? Part 3. For certain games that are also available on mobile, have you ever decided to purchase it on mobile just because it's cheaper? If so, which games?
You
gonna pass on this one too?
No. I was gonna say I always look at the core experience of that game to choose which console to play it on.
What are you talking about?
If a game is like super cinematic, I usually play on like PS5 because I feel like that's like the best. You know, that's gonna give me the best like resolution and like the performance and whatever.
Yeah.
Like if it's like, let's say there's a game that's available across all platforms, but I know that I will only play this game handheld, I'll just buy it on Switch, you know?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't care that it like looked nice. Yeah. I just want to play it like on the go.
Yeah. These days I have like a very clear like formula in my mind. So it's like really? Xbox is strictly for Game Pass.
Yeah.
And we have the Series S, so it's not as nice graphically as the PS5. Exactly. So the PS5 is for
graphically cinematic games.
First party Sony stuff and like the high end visual stuff.
Yeah.
Great. And then the Switch is for everything else.
Yeah.
And, but like I said, like I did play Witcher 3 on Switch.
Right.
So there are times where it's like the portability will factor in. I wonder, like, if there was like a good Elden Ring version on Switch, what would you have done? I might have gone for that.
I probably wouldn't have. It's too cinematic.
Okay. I mean, you might have been done with it by now.
But only because I'd be playing 24 hours a day.
But you'd be done.
That's not good.
Part 2. I will say, the generation that this was the most fun was the PS2, GameCube, Xbox generation, because all 3 of those were close enough. And I remember like poring over articles of like,
which one to get?
Oh, the pixels in this one or the color is slightly more vibrant. If you're running it through the component cables, then
component cables.
And I would really like agonize over like, oh, which one?
It's also you don't have like the money to buy all 3.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason because it's the same game.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed doing that.
The game that comes to mind that I've bought I've bought over and over again for many different consoles is Diablo. Because I have had that. I've owned that game on PC. I've owned all the games on Switch. I feel like, am I always buying Diablo? Like, what's going on?
But that's kind of like through the years thing. Like, would you ever buy would you buy a Switch version and if there's a so like when Doom came out?
Yeah.
Would you buy the Switch version and
I did actually. I think I did.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one time I did that too.
Yeah, I think because I wanted the portability and I also wanted to play.
I'm pretty sure we got that for free too.
I think
so it doesn't count. Yeah, I bought it.
I did it! Okay, mobile games.
Part 3, I can't say I've done this.
Pokemon Unite is the only one I've done this for.
Oh.
But the mobile version is very bad.
It's not bad.
I didn't like it.
Well.
I didn't like it.
Okay.
I don't like the controls.
I mean, usually I find the mobile version is like pretty different from a console game, so that's my thinking there. I mean, and you just prefer the Switch version.
I prefer the Switch version.
Okay, well, doesn't mean it's bad. Jeez.
I think it's bad.
What a snooty thing to say.
Wow.
Ben Eichhorn, I'll be saying that name.
Oh, and I know.
Thank you very much.
Forever.
This doesn't happen often, but there have been a few select games that have angered me in the direction of the story or gameplay that resulted in me to quit midway through or finish out of spite. I like that, finish out of spite. I'm going to stick it to you, game. What games are these for you?
Let's see. A game that I've rage quit out of midway. I definitely struggled when Bravely Default decided to make me play the game again. But I finished it out of spite, I would say. I like that phrase a lot,
You really
by the
stuck
way.
it to Square Enix.
I was like, fine!
I have very low tolerance for games that, like, abuse my time.
Yeah, that's what happened with that game.
The thing that really sets me off these days are difficulty spikes. just like out of nowhere, like, oh, this is like way harder.
Oh, suddenly it's like way harder.
Octopath Traveler, I remember, had a really bad difficulty spike, kind of early on with one of the bosses, and I was like, I'm done. I don't need to do this. Goodbye.
Yeah, you're not going to do this over and over again.
You know this story. I was at the end area of Yakuza Like a Dragon.
You just didn't finish it.
I put my PS5 into rest mode because I was like, this is too long. I'll finish this tomorrow because I'm sure this game has a crazy long ending. It was getting late. I was like, I want to appreciate this fully. Come back the next day. My PS5 had auto-updated and restarted. I lost all my progress in that big... I was right before the final boss. It's a long, it's a long gauntlet thing.
Yeah, really long.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this again.
Watch it on YouTube.
I watched the ending on YouTube. I do not care. Do not come after me about this.
I finished my game.
Life. Good for you.
I did finish that. This game was great.
I did it.
It was so good.
You dummy.
There's definitely, I'm in that moment right now with Elden Ring where I feel like I should just quit. Or like Metroid, I was like, no, I can't do this boss. Like days and days had gone by. But I'm with I like this finish out of spite. Like this is where my stubbornness gets the best of me, and I'm just like, no, I can't give up on this. Okay, the Dawn Rob. More mobile games. Do either of you play any mobile games? I got into Pokemon Go and Fire Emblem Heroes for a while, but no game seems to hold my attention for long. Are there any that you would recommend? I loved Pokemon Go when it was the heyday of Pokemon Go. We had so much fun.
I've had a number, of phases where I was super into Pokemon Go, but then I have fallen off so hard.
Yeah.
Like there was the first
the
phenomenon
happened.
that was super fun, and then I fell off. And then I think there was a Comic-Con that you and I just started up again.
Yeah.
And that was super fun.
And then we went for a while.
And I played for a long time. And then, when the pandemic hit,
I stopped walking.
I stopped, and I have not touched it since. I know they added all this stuff where you can do it without going out, but that's
not the point.
Besides the point. So.
My mom and I played Pokemon Go together.
That's nice.
It was so cute. That was the phenomenon part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could try Pokemon Unite. Maybe it's your cup of tea, but it wasn't mine.
I don't play. My issue with a lot of mobile games is they're so convoluted with all the different currencies and timers and stuff. It's I just want to play this game.
Yeah, it's too much to keep track of.
Yeah, and you look at the HUD, it's oh, well, here are my 5 currencies. I got a timer. I've got a thing here. And it's can I just play this game?
Yeah, and then it's oh, now you need to pay money for stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all the questions.
That's all the questions.
We made it. And now the part you've been dreading.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
People continue to come after you in the Discord because you have mispronounced their name.
Okay, I'm going to try really hard.
Now, you had a strategy last time, which is trading off.
Yeah, you
which
go
made,
first.
Which made no difference at all. You don't know how many times a week I update this.
You go first.
I update this, the moment before I leave the house to come here, I check the Patreon to see if there's any movement.
New people, yeah, yes. I know.
So that really makes no difference at all. You should identify the names that are problems for you and let me do it, or I'll just do the whole thing.
No.
You can go take 5.
No.
And come back, and we'll do it.
Okay,
Fine.
here we go. Here we go.
Do you want me to start or you?
You start, but this is the graduation ceremony.
All right. A. Ron Burgundy.
Aaron Hash.
A. Stick.
Adam Edwards.
Jean Millard.
Ollie Shaw.
Angela Bycroft.
Ben E.
Bettina Tang.
Blue Toad.
Brian Humphreys.
Chancellor Farley. Fairley.
Christopher Lay.
Fairley.
I'll just stop reacting. Maybe that's making you nervous.
Captain Alex.
The Dads After Dark Show.
Daniel Cold.
Doxson.
Derek.
David Zeck.
Dispel.
Douglas Chomix.
Drew Grant.
All Caps Dino Punch.
Ed Sandwich.
Eigenverse.
Eric.
Espars 50.
Fur.
Gar.
Garrett Holfish.
Handsome Warrior.
Ian Shea.
Israel, short for Izzy.
Jackie Z.
Jack 1999.
James Quibbarl.
Jason E.
JPJ.
Jeff Yoakum.
Jeremy Amasher.
Jesse Hernandez.
Jim Wakelin.
Jobert.
John.
Oh, come on.
John Responte.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Collette.
Jordan Hemmerly.
Jordan Thomas.
Jordy Kirk.
Juan.
Just Camtro.
Carter with a K.
Kawa 2796.
Kevin.
Kevin Delane.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyler Nelson.
Linked Triforce.
Link Master.
Luminous.
Lucas Pico.
Oh! Lewis.
Luis Calcano.
Michael Cravens.
Michael J. File.
Michael Mazer.
Mike Chin.
Mikey.
Nick Waterman.
Nico Della Serna.
Nodnarb.
Oscar Peterson.
Parker Anderson.
Patreon user.
Paul Gale Network.
Pirates TCG Grudges Forever.
Pirates TCG Ramming Speed.
Prince Charmless.
Reaver.
Rain Tech.
Raphael.
Rob Osborne.
Rocks.
Roy Eshke.
Ryan Stokes.
Ryanetta.
Sam Nealand.
Shinryu.
Slowbro.
Sparkling Salt.
Spicy Munchkin.
Star Holt Productions.
Steel Citron.
Stephen H.
Switching It Up _
The Dawn Rob.
Thomas.
Thomas Alvarez.
Tony Khalil Rogers.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tyler Geis.
VGM Life.
Video Game Stupid.
Beautiful Dandy.
Virtual Bot.
What's Up Flapjack.
Wicked Davy.
Will Ernest.
And my favorite, Zudeverf.
Zudaverf.
I think that might be right. Zudeverf.
Zudaverf.
Wow.
It's not bad. James Crabaro, though.
There is a no more sacred duty that we have on this podcast than reading our beautiful names of One Up Club members.
I'm trying my best.
And the meetup. I'm expecting you to personally, that's first thing we're doing.
James Crabaro,
Personal
are you gonna be
apology. James Crabaro.
James Crabaro.
You got all mush-mouthed all of a sudden. Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, don't forget to subscribe to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/Kit and Krysta. We have a virtual event this week, so if you subscribe this week, you can come to it. It's really fun. And there's lots of other benefits as well, like our bonus Q&As and me butchering your name and lots of other things. That's fun to be in Patreon. Follow us on social. We are Kit and Krysta on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and of course here on YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give this video a thumbs up and leave us a comment with what you thought of the show today. What else?
Don't forget to check out Gaming Nintendo Treasures Part 2 this week.
Yes.
Up on YouTube.
Yes. Kit and Krysta show. Different from
I think
the
that's
podcast.
it. You're leaving this show a broken husk of a person. So it's mission accomplished for me.
What do you mean? I'm not broken. I feel great.
Oh, good.
Time for our snack.
Oh, nice. Oh, the snack.
The snack.
Let's go.
Okay, bye.
Bye.